Test, 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 test. Retired military
Test. And welcome into the opening round of the SCBL playoffs here on the SCBL YouTube channel. 4 matchups tonight kick off the first round of the SCBL playoffs, a single elimination format until the final 3. Wednesday, they've got a break in Thursday through Saturday, the 3-game series to decide who will be the SCBL champion in 2024. Tonight, we're coming to you from Moore Park once again as the Mooresville Spinners, the 2nd seed in the playoffs, hosting the 7th-seeded Lake Norman Copperheads. And these two teams seem to meet each other all the time, and they do it once again here up I-77, the home of the 3-time defending champion Spinners. I'm Gunter Schroeder, joined by Zane Metz on color. And Zane, this will be a fascinating matchup, one that we've seen quite a few times, but always an exciting game.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of matchup between these two foes as now the stakes are even higher being playoffs and win or go home for both of these squads. The Spinners with a lot of expectations. The Copperheads trying to play spoiler tonight.
Indeed they are. So AJ Camp will get the ball for the Spinners, the left-handed pitcher, originally of Wake Forest. Stallings, North Carolina native, takes the bump for the opening round. He'll be opposed by Nick Solar on the other side. The Copperheads just faced AJ Camp as his last start was against the Copperheads, and he shut them out over 6 innings, 5 hits allowed, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts as the Spinners won that game 4-0 a week ago. Picks up where he left off with a first pitch strike to Dane Frelick, the third baseman for the Copperheads, leading things off tonight from Framingham State University. Swings at the 0-1 and misses that off speed. Off to a fast start is AJ Camp. We'll see if the Copperheads can pick up some offense early in this one. Camp's 0-2. Swung on, back to the mound. Camp collects it, throws to first in time, and 1 away here to start this game. Next up will be Isaac Armstrong, the do-it-all shortstop.
Next up, the Copperhead shortstop, number 4, Isaac Armstrong.
Not many more players as talented as this guy, a former ECU Pirate in the transfer portal, and represented the Copperheads at the SCBL Showcase. Swings at this pitch and puts it in the air towards the outfield. Tyler Steele, though, will have room in left center field. And 1 pitch is all it takes to retire Isaac Armstrong and bring up Luis Morales.
Yeah, we see the Copperheads already being aggressive tonight, trying to get on AJ Camp early after he shut him out through 6 innings last week. As now we see one of the best hitters in the league, Luis Morales, step to the dish.
Luis Morales, probably the best all-around hitter on the Spinners and committed to play at Florida Gulf Coast next season in the A-Sun. He'll be transferring there from Sterling College. What a season he's had. Luis Morales thrived in JUCO ball and will now be a future Division I player. Try to solve AJ Camp here behind 0-1 here. Next pitch from Camp on the way. Misses inside. Hasn't been afraid to mix up and put in a curveball every once in a while so far. One of 4 quarterfinal matchups in the league tonight. This is the 7 versus 2 as Morales puts it on the ground, foul. On the other side of the bracket, the Statesville Owls, the top seed, facing off against the Concord A's at West Iredale High School. The Carolina Disco Turkeys hosting the Regulators. We've got this matchup, the Spinners versus the Copperheads, the 2 versus 7, and the winner will play the winner of the Queen City Corn Dogs, who host the Warri Wampus Cats down at Queens University, the 6-3 matchup. Camp's next pitch on the way to Morales and goes outside. So count runs to full, 3-2. Camp been good at limiting the walks, just 11 in 32 and 2/3 innings, but 41 strikeouts. We'll see if he can execute here in the full count. Payoff pitch swung on and missed, and Luis Morales down on strikes. So are the Copperheads, 1-2-3 in the top of the first inning. Spinners bats will get to work when we come back. And back here in the bottom of the first inning, Anthony Umbach to lead things off as they'll face another tough lefty in Nick Solar, who's been nearly flawless over 7 innings so far. The senior from Northwestern Ohio. First pitch runs upstairs to Umbach. As we said, he's faced off against the Spinners a week ago as well. Only allowed a hit over 4 innings, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. We'll see how long he can go into this game. Should be a low-scoring affair if last week's game is any indication, and a good strike there right over the heart of the plate.
Yeah, I mean, we see both teams kind of throwing out their ace guys who absolutely dominated against the opposing side last time these two teams met. And the Copperheads are going to need Solar to go deep, as pitching depth has kind of been their kryptonite this season, and a good outing from Solar would go a long ways tonight.
1-1 on the way. Fastball misses just upstairs. Umbach so far, .239 average on the year, 17 hits. Finished off his regular season with the 1-for-2 outing and a 9-4 loss to the Disco Turkeys up at Couch Park in Winston-Salem. 2-1 on the ground, past Will Gray at second base, and a leadoff single for Anthony Umbach gets the Spinners started. And as we've seen, they can put together a ton of hits in a hurry, so we'll see whether Solar gets affected by a base runner on it all or
yeah,
not.
I mean, when the Spinners jump on you, it's hard for them to kind of get off, as, you know, they get a lead and they run with it, so the Copperheads are going to have to keep them. modest here in the first couple of innings.
And what a start for Tyler Steele in 8 games in the regular season. 15 hits in 28 at-bats. What a player he's been for the Spinners down the stretch, an off-season or late outfield addition for this Spinners team. He's had some memorable games and won the SCBL Player of the Week in his first week in the league. Head 1-0 here. Takes a pitch outside from Solar.
Yeah, I mean, that's not too shabby. Joining the league winning the Player of the Week in the same week, as he's been a great addition for the Spinners. The UNCG guy has just fit perfectly into what's been a dominant lineup this year.
And quickly ascended in the lineup as well, hitting in the 2-hole, and ahead 2-0 here. Solar is, that one goes inside and fouled off by Steele. There'll be a 2-1 count, and we've seen the Spinners get aggressive on the base pass too. You wonder if Umbach will take off for second base, put some pressure on this Copperheads team early.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen teams test the arm of Cody Spillman so far this season, and Umbach, obviously the leadoff guy for a reason. We'll see if he shows off the wheels.
Solar readies 2-1. Off speed gets Steele swinging, and it's a 2-2 count here.
Yeah, kind of an unconventional 2-1 pitch right there, going with the curveball in the dirt, but that opens up a lot of things here with Solar with a 2-2 count.
And some looted at-bats. Steele has shown off the power. 5 extra base hits, including 2 home runs. We'll see if that is displayed here. 2-2 on the way. Fastball right past Solar.
As Spinners off to a hot start already.
Next up will be the hometown kid, Cam Claunch, and the recent ECU graduate. Part of a Pirates team that hosted a regional over in Greenville. Unfortunately didn't win it, but what a season it was for the Pirates. And Claunch, a part of their 2024 graduating class, returning home to play for the hometown Spinners. And playing an important role as well, the 3-hole hitter. At 6'4", 195. A lot of power yet to be displayed. A lefty-lefty matchup here. Solar's 0-1, and that one runs in and hits him on the helmet. Claunch not pleased in that the slightest, but it looks like he just kind of lost control of the fastball a little bit. Now that's 3 straight batters that have reached in this opening inning.
Yeah, and that brings up a guy that has a lot of experience in this league, that being Davis Turner.
I want to talk about a guy that's on fire recently. Had a 2-run home run to kick off what was a 12-0 dominant Spinners win here on Friday against the Statesville Owls. Owls, however, hung on to that #1 seed, and they'll have home field advantage throughout the playoffs, including if they can reach the championship series Thursday through Saturday, which means that would be held at West Iredale High School if they were to be one of the 2 teams remaining. We know how crazy the SCBL can get, though. So it'll be a tough 2 games before they get there. Be an exciting playoffs until that point.
Yeah, now steps in a guy, Davis Turner, who has been a part of the Spinners team in their 3-peat, looking for a 4-peat, going into his senior year. That'd be quite the experience. 4 years of summer ball and 4 championships for Turner.
Looking to cap off the 4-peat potentially in 4 seasons. What an achievement that would be. Going back to back to back, extremely hard at any level of baseball, and the fact that the Spinners have a chance to do it for a 4th straight year is quite something. As now Davis Turner up with the bases loaded and no outs. Solar's first pitch is there for a strike. And really the first bit of trouble Nick Solar's had all season. In a very important spot, we'll see how he deals with it.
Yeah, great mound visit right there from Noah Jarrett, just calming his guy down on the bump. Has to work himself out of a jam here, but with the lefty-lefty matchup, we'll see what he can do.
As we mentioned, Turner 1 for 2 with the home run and 2 walks on Friday. Takes the 0-1 outside here.
And Solar really has no let-up in the Spinners lineup. I mean, 1 through 9 tonight, he's going to be on his A game. As I mean, looking down this lineup, we have Josh Alciano, one of the best hitters in the league, batting in the 7-hole, and same with Matthew Cipriano, batting 9th.
Turner a chance to do some real damage. 1-1, swung on in the air towards center field. Staborski will camp under in center. He's got it. Here comes the runner, Umbach. Instead, that'll go to Armstrong, and the run scores. A leadoff sac fly to give the Spinners a 1-0 lead here as Davis Turner does drive in the run on the sac fly. And the Spinners have the early lead in the first run allowed by Nick Solar so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, Turner just did what he needed to do, put a ball into the outfield, and allowed Umbach to use his speed. Easy sac fly for the Spinners, 1-0 early.
They can hurt you in small ways and big. That's what we've seen from the Spinners lineup all season long. And it doesn't get any easier with Jeremy Green Jr., the DH, hitting fifth. First pitch misses upstairs.
You talk about experience, Jeremy Green, same with Davis Turner, a guy that's been with the Spinners ball club for many summers now. And using that experience in the middle parts of the lineup will hopefully be big for this Morrisville ball club here in the playoffs.
Rising senior at Emory and Henry College is Green and takes the 1-0 outside. And a theme you see a lot of experience for the Spinners team, offsetting the talented youngsters like Josh Osiander, like Noah Corliss we've seen make an impact for this team so far this season. A big reason why they are the 2 seed once again. Green ahead 2-0. Lays off of it, but it still drops in the strike zone. A nice pitch there from Solar. We saw Tyler Steele on Friday steal a base from second to third. We'll see if the Spinners think about trying the double steal here to heap some extra pressure on the Copperheads defense. Now the 2-1. Misses low with the off speed once again. Looked like he went back to the curveball but didn't get the bite. And now a hitter's count for Green.
Yeah, you got to imagine Jeremy Green with a 3-1 green light right here.
Awaits the pitch and swings on it in the air, and it'll reach the grass behind first base here.
Full count pitch, probably the biggest pitch of the day right here from Nick Solar. Doesn't want to load the bases. We've seen him be effective with the curveball in the dirt. Green already spit on one, though, and took it. We'll see if he doubles up with the fastball or goes with the off speed.
On a 9-game hitting streak is Green. Payoff pitch is swung on, and it looks like scuffed that ball pretty bad into the dirt. So get another chance at it. As we mentioned, on that 9-game hitting streak, he's driven in 5 runs and only struck out twice in those 9 games. So a tough guy to strike out at the plate. We'll see if that plate discipline pays off here in some sort of way. Only the 1 out in the bottom of the first and a 1-0 Spinners lead with 2 men on for Green. The next pitch from Solar is fouled off once again.
Yeah, Solar back-to-back off-speed pitches to Green, and Green fouls both of them into the dirt. As that's been his best pitch so far tonight, but we'll see if he goes with the heater here. Try to show some change of speed.
In fact, Green only struck out twice in the whole season of 14 games and 44 at-bats. They'll do it again in another 3-2. Solar waiting for the pitch he can find. Now he's got it, his time is called. Green had 2 hits, a double and 2 RBIs in that Friday night win over the Owls. 3-2, swung on and missed. And he will not have a drop strike 3 called. Green will walk back as out number 2. Went chasing after the pitch in the dirt, and a big recovery here.
Yeah, very rare strikeout from Jeremy Green. Kind of a little bit of announcer's jinx there, as only the 3rd one this season is pretty crazy, but Solar decided to go back-to-back-to-back curveballs and ended up paying off and put himself in a lot better situation here.
Has relied on that off-speed heavily so far, and it's paid dividends in a jam. As here comes the double steal, Alderfer goes around, and it gets away from Spillman. But both runners advance regardless. So second and third with 2 outs. So be ahead of Alderfer. Looked like 1-0, but looks like the ump's calling it a ball, and the Copperheads faithful behind us not too pleased with it.
Yeah, I mean, both teams' fans have shown out tonight. A great night at Moore Park, very lively. And with the home crowd and even with the visiting crowd on the first base side.
Nick Alder for the shortstop, and the Queens University junior is up next. And a Cox Mill High School graduate playing against some of his high school teammates tonight. Cale Ayler, Jack Lopez, and Connor Welker, some of the names on the Copperheads, but instead he's playing for the Spinners this summer and been having a pretty good season too. Solar trying to get out of the jam with 2 runners in scoring position here. Spinners already get 1 run across on the sac fly from Davis Turner and looking for more. 2-0 on the way. Did Alderfer go around? Yes. Moves to a 2-1.
And Solar sticking with the off-speed even after he couldn't locate the first 2 of the at-bat there. Got Alderfer to go around and now moves himself into a 2-1 count.
Next pitch on the way. On the ground towards third base. Up and throwing is Frelick in time, and they got him across the diamond. And a nice recovery from Nick Solar, who despite allowing the first 3 runners on base, the Spinners can only get 1 on the sac fly from Davis Turner. But nonetheless, the Spinners lead it 1-0 through 1 when we come back. Back here in the second inning, and A.J. Camp with some early run support as the Spinners lead it 1-0 after 1. Copperheads went down in order in the first inning. It'll be Will Gray, the second baseman, leading things off for the Copperheads in this top of the second frame. Camp's first pitch runs inside.
Yeah, and Camp with a big summer this season. He needed a guy that was at Wake Forest, but currently in the transfer portal. Played his high school ball at nearby Combine Academy that has produced some absolute studs. And Camp's still looking for a new home, but you got to imagine he's on team's radar after what a summer he's had.
Yeah, and also represented the SCBL at the Prospect Showcase and pitched a great inning of scoreless ball against the Florida League up in Lynchburg. That next pitch misses. So a 2-1 count here to Will Gray, the West Virginia Tech shortstop, playing second base tonight for the Copperheads, is featured all around the infield. Next 2-1 is there for a strike. Good fastball in the upper part of the plate. Good crowd on hand for this first round matchup. These teams not located too far from one another. And a big crowd always on hand here at Moore Park as that 2-2 in the dirt. Count runs full. Camp only walked 2 batters over the last 6 innings he faced the Copperheads. So we'll see if he can shut them down here. Payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. And Will Gray down on strikes. 2 strikeouts in the first 4 batters for A.J. Camp, and he'll face Cale Ayler.
Yeah, I'm a really big fan of Camp. I mean, a guy that's not going to blow the fastball by you. Looking on a Twitter, Sin 91, 92, still a very good velocity, but his off-speed stuff, especially coming from a lefty, is very tough to hit. I mean, we've already seen it so far tonight with the Copperheads lineup being tough to hit against Camp, but he can really whip those curveball and sliders, especially running on the hands against righty batters.
Cale Ayler due up next. Has had his struggles at times this summer. Only played 13 games for the Copperheads. Smaller sample size than last summer when he played really well for the Concord A's. Has had a rougher go of it this summer, but did get a hit a week ago against the Spinners right here at Moore Park. Takes a first pitch strike from Camp. Lefty-lefty matchup once again, and fouled back to the screen here. Quickly ahead, 0-2 is Camp, and he hasn't been afraid to throw the fastball in the zone. As you said, not the most velocity in the world, but he really can locate it well.
Yeah, I mean, he got Ayler to chase on the high pitch right there. We'll see if he sets him up with something now in the dirt.
0-2, just missed with the outside off speed there. Came over the top of the zone, but just missed maybe upstairs a little bit. Ayler looking to get something going with 1 down in this top of the 2nd inning. Next pitch on the way, swung on and fouled. Just threw the bat out and kept alive.
Yeah, and running up Camp's pitch count is going to be big. I mean, we already see in this at-bat with Ayler, just keep fouling off pitches. And if you can get Camp to exit early, you know, you might have a little more of a chance against that Spinners bullpen. It's really been the starters this year for Morrisville that have carried the weight.
Led by Camp, and the 1-2 swung on and a rocket foul. And if you can call A.J. Camp nothing else, it should be a winner, as he leads the league with 6 wins in 7 starts. Hasn't lost a game since June 5th against the Regulators, in which he only gave up 2 earned runs, although he did give up 6 in that start. But since then, he's rattled off 5 straight wins, allowing just 2 runs over that time frame. 1-2 the other way, and it'll roll just fouled on the third base line by Ayler. And he's faced the Copperheads twice in that start, picked up the win both times. 11 innings and allowed just 6 hits, 3 walks, and struck out 16. So you would seem to think he has the Copperheads number. We'll see if he can carry that strong start deep into this game tonight. Another 1-2 on the way, and runs inside, nearly hit Ayler, but he stays alive and takes ball 2.
Yeah, I mean, Ayler's been fighting in this at-bat. He was out in front way on that slider the pitch before, then Camp trying to run him up inside with the fastball, just misses, moves the count to 2-2.
Now the even pitch gets past Turner, and another ball. A good at-bat worked by Ayler. Moves the count to 3-2, and a lot of full counts here early for A.J. Camp, so if nothing else, racking up the pitch count and maybe forcing the Spinners to warm up a bullpen arm a little bit earlier than they would like. Camp, one of the best starters in the league. 3-2 there for strike 3. A beautiful off-speed, catches perfect spot in the top of the strike zone, and Ayler down on strikes. 3 down in a row via strikeout, brings up Parker Staborski. Staborski, center fielder tonight for the Copperheads, and a Catawba College junior. First pitch on the way from Camp, swung on and missed. 12 hits in 19 games for the center fielder. Picked up a hit in his last appearance in the regular season against the Regulators last Thursday. Hitting in the 5-hole tonight. Camp's next offering runs upstairs. We talk about the depth that this Spinners pitching staff has. They've got 4 guys that can really carry a team on any staff in this league, and yet they're all on the same team. Choosing from a bevy of riches, maybe you say.
Yeah, and I mean, it's very useful, especially in a league where you're normally only playing 4 games in a week, maybe 5. As you see that 4 with Camp, you got Faircloth.
Caleb Freeman is from North Greenville, is a great player. They've had Caleb Williams as well.
Yeah. Any way you look at it, this rotation from Mooresville has just been lights out this summer.
2-1 fouled off here by Parker Staborski. Staborski at 6'3", 195, a pretty big outfielder. He got speed for his size. This will be a short mound visit here, potentially from Davis Turner. As Campus cruised early here, sat down the first 5 batters he's faced. A couple balls been put in play, but nothing particularly hard so far.
Yeah, I mean, only those 2, that one pop out by Isaac Armstrong in center field and then the ground out by Frelick. Back to Camp on the bump. But Turner just having a little chat with them as we kind of see him. He's been able to get strike 3, especially as of late, setting down the last 3 batters on strikeouts. But it's had to gone till later into the count, something we really haven't seen so far this year from Camp. And obviously Turner and the Spinners pitching staff and coaches want him to go late into this ball game.
So the mound visit is done. If nothing else, the Copperheads working quite a lot of good at-bats here. Nothing to show for it quite yet. But Staborski has worked the count to 2-2 here. Camp takes a deep breath. Gets the sign from Turner. Here comes the 2-2 on the way, and just misses with the fastball. Outside part of the plate that time. Didn't get the call, and now another payoff pitch on the way. We'll see if Camp can shut down another batter in a full count. 3-2 is fouled off. Went to the off speed, and Staborski laid off on it just enough to make contact.
Yeah, Turner just couldn't hold on to that as Staborski looked like he was fooled halfway through his swing, just poking the bat out there, hoping for some contact.
So potential caught third strike here. As they'll do it again, another payoff on the way from Camp. The pitch bounces up there for ball 4, and the Copperheads have their first base runner as Staborski draws what will be walk number 13 on the season. And now that'll give Brock Fowler, the DH, a chance.
Yeah, yet another mound visit from Turner, and now we see the Spinners pitching coach Trent Cargo out there. Kind of interesting. Camp has been looking good early, but has been running deep into counts as, I don't know if it's a pitch count or something of that nature, but nonetheless, second mound visit of the inning.
Yeah, and you wonder whether they're talking to him about something he's feeling in his arm potentially, whether they need to go warm up maybe a bullpen arm here. As you see, it looks like Griffin Coyne may be coming out of the bullpen here, or at least starting to warm up. This looks like the 2 guys they've got over there is Griffin Coyne and Landon Reeves jogging over to the bullpen. So see if Camp stays in the game. It looks like he will. Only needs 1 more out to get out of this inning. And he'll face Brock Fowler next. As Brock Fowler, a Wingate University Bulldog, at 6'4", 230, an imposing presence in the batter's box.
As Gunnar, it looks like we do have some updates around, some scores around the league. The Wampus Cats up 3-0 on the Corn Dogs in the top of the 3rd inning. We see the Statesville Owls up 4-1 on the Concord Athletics at West Iredell High School. And then top 3, the Regulators up 3-0 on the Disco Turkeys. As of right now, we would have 2 surprise winners, that being the Wampus Cats and the Regulators being Road Warriors.
Yeah, and we'll set up some interesting games. You always wonder in these single elimination formats whether a team can just kind of catch fire over a 2-game period. It'll get interesting to see as the Wampus Cats came into tonight's game with Sawyer Smith on the mound, one of the best players in the league. As you see, the Corn Dogs have gotten 2 in this frame. Bottom of the 3rd now, they trail it 3-2. as we thought, the Regulators do have some good pitching, prospects, and despite the Corn Dogs sending 3 guys to the NACSB prospect games in the rotation, we figured it was going to be a tight game, as it looks like AJ Camp is coming out of the game.
Yeah, very surprising. It has to be something with Cam Sarma. I mean, obviously he was dealing early on, but trying to play the long game here and maybe can throw Camp later out in these playoffs. We'll have a new pitcher here. As, yeah, looking at that Regulators versus Disco Turkeys game. Disco Turkeys now put up 2 in the bottom of the 3rd inning, make that 3-2 as the Turkeys are throwing out Levi Strom on the mound. He's already allowed 4 hits, 3 earned runs, and 1 strikeout, and now make that a 3-3 ball game. As we see RBIs from Tucker, Johnson, and Boone Herman.
Yeah, the Disco Turkey is really a team that have been able to match anybody's offensive output. It's just been whether they can get some solid innings from their pitching staff. And I feel like a bunch of teams in the league, you can say that about. They swing the bat well. You just need your pitching to make up for maybe the same sort of difference potentially in some of these games, and that's been the difference between maybe some of the top teams like the Spinners and the Owls and teams like the Wampus Cats, as we mentioned. They've got a great arm in Sawyer Smith, but maybe not quite the depth that some of these other teams have. So maybe that plays to their advantage a little bit in this single elimination format. You've got maybe one of the top 3 pitchers in the league, and Sawyer Smith has been pretty lights out all year. And if you get a win in the opening round of the playoffs, it doesn't stop your momentum any less. Certainly gives you some confidence going into maybe another matchup, whether the Wampus Cats can pull off that upset tonight. Maybe they play the Spinners here.
Yeah, we saw the Wampus Cats. They jumped up to a 3-0 lead actually in the top half of the 1st inning, as thanks to 3 RBIs by Whitley. As looking at it here, he actually had that 3-run home run against a guy that hasn't allowed a many runs so far this season, that being McDougal on the bump for the Corn Dogs.
And he just came off a complete game up at Kannapolis, as they played 2 games up at Atrium Health Ballpark, did the Corn Dogs. And they faced the Spinners that night, got the win in that one.
And it actually looks like McDougal has been pulled after 2 innings, allowing 3 earned runs and 5 hits, and it's going to be Walker has pitched a scoreless top half of the 3rd inning. Very interesting. Colin McDougal only facing 12 batters against the Wampus Cats.
Yeah, maybe a similar sort of story here too, because Spinners pulling AJ Camp after what is just 1 2/3 innings. Maybe it's injury related like here, maybe not, but it looked like AJ Camp just wasn't feeling something correct in his arm. You don't want to take any risks with pitchers in this league particularly.
Yeah, and then looking at that Statesville game, the Concord A's were able to jump up to a 1-0 lead in the top half of the 1st inning, and then Statesville retaliated with a 4-run bottom half of the 1st inning. Looking at Statesville, he's had 2 RBIs from Wyatt Stanley, and he's been the heart of that Owls lineup all season long.
Yeah, and what a few games he's had, leading the league with an over 400 batting average. As the new pitcher will be Landon Reeves, the right-hander, to face Brock Fowler. First pitch swung on and fouled, went to the off-speed. Reeves, a Denver, North Carolina native, playing at Coker College. Struggled in the month of June, but had a great start against the Regulators on July 10th. Allowed just 1 run, which was unearned. 2 hits, picked up the save in that one. We'll look to carry that success into the playoffs here, and a great pitch there. Fastball right to Fowler, behind 0-2. As Taborski, a walk here. Does have a runner on to the Copperheads, their first base runner, after Camp sat down the first 5. Reeves ready with the 0-2, and just misses upstairs. He's got some life on that fastball. Fowler wasn't fooled by that one particularly, but seems to have some good ride on it. Checking back once again is Reeves. Pitch on the way. Goes to the off-speed. A good block by Turner. But 0-2 turns to 2-2.
It's going to be interesting how the Spinners now have to combat that. Obviously, they're thinking Camp goes 5-6 innings, have to throw Landon Reeves here in the bottom. Should be the top half of the 2nd, as it's going to be a bullpen day for Mooresville.
2-2. swung on and into the mitt of Turner for strike 3. Tipped into the glove of Turner by Fowler, and that is the 4th strikeout of the night for the Spinners pitchers. Gets us through the top of the 2nd. The Copperheads unable to strike, and the Spinners still leading as we go to the bottom of the 2nd inning. Bottom of the 2nd here as the Spinners lead at 1-0, and Josh Osiander to lead things off in this the 2nd inning.
Osiander now batting for the Spinners.
Josh Osiander, the sophomore from Northampton, Pennsylvania, and the Western Carolina Catamount. Takes a first pitch ball from Nick Soler, who got out of the jam, allowing just 1 inning as the Spinners got their first 3 batters on base. Umbach and Steele both singling before Claunch's hit by pitch loaded the bases with no outs. Davis Turner had a sac fly, but then Soler rebounded to get the last 2 batters in a row as 2 pitches now skip up there to home plate. Osiander ahead 2-0. He's hit some towering shots here at Moore Park. You don't want to give him too much of a chance at lifting one in the air. Moore Park, not the deepest center field in the world either. 2-0 runs low and inside. We'll see if Soler can have a more smooth 2nd inning. Not off to a good start as Osiander ahead 3-0 here. Looking to get on base to start the 2nd inning and extend the Spinners' lead. And it is a 4-pitch walk to Osiander, the 3rd baseman, as he'll make the trot to first to bring up Garrison Bullock.
Yeah, I don't hate that right there from Soler. Already down on the count 3-0. Don't want to give Osiander a pitch that he can drive. Might as well just walk him and count your differences, and now up against Garrison Bullock.
So Osiander, we've seen can steal some bases. Has 12 of them already this season. And the first pitch runs inside to Bullock. Bullock and Emery and Henry Jr. from Concord, North Carolina. Central Cabarrus High School graduate. 20 hits on the season. And 8 of them extra bases. As once again the pitch runs inside from Soler. 6 straight balls to begin this inning.
Yeah, he's got to go back with the off-speed here. Miss on back-to-back fastballs now. And in that first inning, that was the pitch that was really locating for him well, especially in the latter half of that inning.
Soler will try to get back in the rhythm, 2-0. And that time he finds the strike zone. Does go with the fastball, though. Bullock didn't get aggressive that time. Does have 2 home runs this season, does Bullock. and hit one in the season finale against the Disco Turkeys on a Division I ballpark stage as well in Winston-Salem Couch Park. Not the deepest corners down the left and right field lines, but still showing off that college power was Bullock. Despite the 9-4 loss, had a good game here or up north in Winston-Salem. And ahead 3-1 here of Solar. Osiander goes, ball 4, as the pitch runs upstairs. And again, the first 2 runners of the inning getting on base for the Spinners. More pressure heaped onto Nick Solar's shoulders as Matthew Cipriano due up next at the bottom of this lineup.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough with Solar. As we mentioned earlier, this lineup just so good. He's had some troubles, you know, just falling behind in counts early and puts him in a tough situation against all these great Spinners hitters.
And we've seen quite a few mound visits so far early in this game, as now Cody Spillman comes in to talk to his pitcher, Solar. Matthew Cipriano in 20 games has had quite the season as well, a .344 average, 22 hits, and picked up 2 in his last appearance, which was against the Copperheads a week ago. Also knocked in what was his 12th run of the year, 447 on base percentage and a 963 OPS for the Spinners left fielder, and a chance to do some damage. Lefty, Solar to Cipriano. First pitch is a beautiful off-speed right in the breadbasket for strike 1.
Yeah, just what he needed right there. Gets him the count 0-1, and now he has some more leverage to work with against Cipriano.
We'll see if the first pitch makes any difference this at-bat as Osiander takes a big lead at second. Swing and a miss here by Cipriano as he chased the outside fastball, and ahead 0-2 is Solar. Cipriano, a sophomore at Wake Tech Community College and Denver, North Carolina. Has been a very solid outfield piece for this Spinners team and has been nothing short of consistent all year. Solar ahead 0-2. Pitch on the way, swung on and missed, and he went back to the off speed and gets out number 1. The second strikeout of the night for Solar, gets a big first out and brings up Anthony Umbach at the top of the order.
Yeah, Umbach already started off the night with a single back up the middle. And another single here would set the Spinners for another run here in the second. As now the Spinners going through the lineup for the second time tonight. We'll see if they time up Solar any better.
Wonder if Solar can get another big second out as the double steal down to third base, not in time, and Osiander showing, they're calling him out now. Looks like Umbach is out at home plate. We'll try and get an explanation here.
Maybe some batter's interference, trying to have Spillman throw down to third base. That's the only thing I can imagine.
Yeah, it looked like he was in the left-handed batter's box, which is tough to get out of the way of if you're a batter and a runner is stealing third. Looks like Osiander, yeah, he will have to return to second base. So 2 down here, some unconventional outs happening here early. A batter's interference call on Anthony Umbach means that's out number 2. And up comes Tyler Steele, who picked up hit number 16 in his 29th at-bat last time up, sorry. Now looking in his 30th at-bat to continue his offensive success. Still has 2 men on at first and second. 2 out here in this bottom of the second inning, and the Spinners leading it 1-0. Solar looking to rebound once again after a rough start to the inning, and a great pitch on the inside part of the plate makes it 1-1.
Yeah, kind of a wacky call from Solar can be something that really kind of jumpstart your night. Get the batter interference call, which could have been a really tough situation if Ostander would have stole that base. And now it gives them a new life here in the bottom half of the second.
1-1 fouled off. Here's position Steele doesn't find himself in too much. A 2-strike count. Although he did find himself in one last time up and battled through it. Fouled off quite a few pitches before eventually getting a single in his first at-bat. Looking to do some more damage. Solar's 1-2 swung on and in on the hands into the Copperheads dugout. Sent everybody in the dugout scrambling. Looks like everybody's all right, though, along that first base line. Some laughs from the Copperheads players. Steele takes another deep breath in the box. So to beat a 1-2 count. As Steele calls time. Now Solar ready with the 1-2. Pitch on the way, runs down. And Spillman a nice block there for ball 2. As I mentioned, Steele does have the power. 3 doubles, 2 home runs for 5 extra base hits out of 16 hits so far. Spinners looking to break things open here in the second. 2-2 on the way. Swung on the other way, and this time over the dugout of the Copperheads, and foul once again. This at-bat playing out very similarly to the first. A lot of foul balls in 2-strike counts for Steele. If you're the Spinners, you don't mind that too much. Steele's been pretty good at hitting the pitches he's looking for. As he hits one he's looking for here towards left field, but on the track and making the catch is Josh Jones, and that retires the side. A sharp line out from Steele ends the second inning and keeps the game 1-0 when we come back for the third inning here at Moore Park. Third inning here at Moore Park. Landon Reeves back out for his second inning of work in his first full inning after A.J. Camp had to come out after just 1 2/3 innings. Appeared to be arm injury related. Wish him the best here as the 1-0 went to the off-speed once again and fouled off by Caden Haywood, the right fielder tonight. And another Western Carolina Catamount taking part in this game. Next pitch on the way, beautiful off-speed. Moves the count to 1-2. Now the 1-2. Haywood went after it. Up in the zone and fouls it off.
And I was looking last week, Caden Hayward, what an athlete he was in high school. He was an all-conference player as a quarterback on the football team, as a center on the basketball team, and also in the outfield for Hickory Ridge here around in the Charlotte area. And will look to be a good addition for the Catamounts going into the fall ball and eventually the spring season.
Yeah, and he's had a great season, too. A .351 average in 18 games. Next pitch on the way. 1-2 misses outside. We've seen him show off the athleticism, too. He's headed to Western Carolina in the fall, one of their 2024 commits. 2-2 on the way and fouled off again.
And what's impressed me the most so far this summer from Haywood has really been his defense. I mean, he's shown off the arm many times this year in right field, left field, wherever he's been at, and has also had a good bat.
2-2 back up towards Umbach on the ground. Throw to first in time. And Haywood grounds out to start the third inning to bring up the other corner outfielder, Josh Jones, the left fielder. Will be up next. If there's any guy that is a utility guy on this team, it's Josh Jones. Has spent quite a bit of time on the mound and in the outfield. The Blainville, Quebec native, currently playing at North Greenville University, one of the top Division II programs in the country. First pitch on the way, runs outside from Reeves. Seems to have turned the corner here after a rough month of June. Looking good tonight. 1-0 just misses. Jones 26 1/3 innings on the mound this season. Maybe gives him a little bit of an advantage from the other perspective in the batter's box. Has the ability to maybe think like a pitcher. 2-1. Chopper towards third base. Osiander will charge it. The deep throw off the base. And an infield single for Josh Jones. And the first hit of the night for the Copperheads comes off the bat of Josh Jones, just their second base runner tonight. As Cody Spillman due up next.
Next up, catcher number 19, Cody Spillman.
Spillman, a Lewisburg College freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina. 6 hits on the season. As Reeves will check back to first. 1 on and 1 out to the catcher. And a first pitch strike there, as we mentioned quite a few times. Spillman, lucky to be even playing baseball at all. Had almost a 2-year break after an accident where he suffered a broken neck off a dive gone wrong in a swimming pool. But he's returned to play high school baseball and earn a college scholarship. An inspiring story. And he's continued his baseball career into the 2024 SCBL season. Has spent time at catcher alongside Matt Goldasich and Lazaro Santos behind the plate for these Copperheads. 0-2 instead goes back to first as Reeves. Back diving is Jones. We'll see if they get risky here and try the stolen base as they look for that tying run. Reeves is 0-2, just misses with the fastball. He's been living on the outside edge of the strike zone. Hasn't gotten too many chases so far. But has offset his fastball and off speed fairly well up to this point. 1-2 as Jones goes. Spillman drives it towards center. Steele catches it. He'll throw back to first base for the force out and the double off. And that is the end of the third inning. Josh Jones caught on second base and stranded, as the Spinners will look to extend the lead when we come back middle of the third inning here at Moore Park.
baseman Cameron Clonch.
And back here for the bottom of the third inning is Cam Clonch lead things off. 3-4-5 due up for the Spinners this inning. And Nick Solar takes the mound for the third time. First pitch to Clonch, laid off of it. Clonch, a late addition, as we mentioned, to the Spinners team, has been on the team for 11 games in his first game back on June 27th against the Statesville Owls. Has spent the second half playing for his hometown team and drives one deep towards right center field. Back on the track is Staborski. He'll watch it go. Cam Clonch, his first home run of the 2024 season, comes in the SCBL playoffs. And the Spinners double their lead here in the third inning. It's 2-0.
Clonch with a big fly over the right center field wall. That ball stuck in the air for a long time.
The 21 gun saluting lead.
And off the bat, Clonch knew it. So did Staborski and Haywood chasing after it. That one will land all the way into the church parking lot down the road here from Moore Park.
Number 7, the catcher.
And Cam Clonch making an impact for the hometown team. Here comes another hometown Mooresville product in Davis Turner.
Yeah, I mean, just as you're talking about how good of an addition Clonch has been to this Mooresville lineup, puts a big fly over the wall. That's just really been the key to success with Mooresville so far this season, is a good pitching rotation to start the game with their starting pitchers and just a lineup that does not let up.
Showing you why he was such a
What are you doing?
important part
What important part? What important part?
Davis Turner hitting the cleanup spot here.
Making sure the bin is okay?
This one fouled out of play by Turner.
As we'll have to see where Solar goes from this. Obviously, that could be a kind of a mental hurdle to go overcome after allowing that home run. And has to go up against possibly one of the best hitters in this Mooresville lineup.
And Turner known to have some pop too. 2-1 on the way. Outside from Solar, and here's the 3-1 coming up next. As we've said, only runs allowed by Nick Solar this season have been tonight, and that's the first home run he's allowed. Here's the hitter's count, and that is ball 4. So Davis Turner technically still 0 for 0 through 2 at-bats, the sac fly, and now the walk. Jeremy Green up next after he struck out his first time up.
Now batting for the Spinners, designated hitter number 5.
Power throughout this lineup. Jeremy Green Jr. has hit quite a few home runs as well this season. $17 hits this season and 44 at-bats for a .386 average coming into tonight. Swings at this pitch, fouls it out of play, looks like. Haywood giving chase, though, down the line. Just not enough room. As you were saying, Haywood, an athletic guy at 6'5", 235. A lot of tall guys, athletic guys in that Copperheads outfield. Able to track down balls fairly well. So we'll see if that comes into play if the Spinners hit any balls into the gap. As Green struck out his first time up. 0-1, misses outside. As Solar shakes off the 1-1. He'll check back to first base with Turner. Now the pitch on the way. Swung on by Green in the air. That'll reach left field. Coming in on it is Jones. He'll make the catch for out number 1.
And a much needed out number 1 right there from Solar. Calms a little bit of the nerves. As we still see Turner sitting on first base.
Yeah, not the biggest steal threat, but we've seen the Spinners get aggressive with nearly everybody in their lineup all season long, so you wonder whether maybe this is the exception. Maybe Turner does go for the stolen base to put some pressure and break up the threat of the double play. First pitch to Alderfer is a strike. Alderfer grounded out his first time up. .15 for 46 is Alderfer for a .326 average. As we see, not too many guys have hit a triple this season. He's got one in the batter's box, does Nick Alderfer, and Davis Turner over there at first base has 4 of them, showing off the speed throughout the season. 1-1 to Alderfer. On the ground towards third base. Frelick to second for 1. That's all they'll get, though, as Alderfer legs out the fielder's choice and avoids the double play.
Yeah,
Two down here.
The throw from Frelick kind of took Gray off the bag and eliminated the chance for a double play. Probably would have been a tough play to get out of for nonetheless at first base.
Now Josh Osiander back up after a walk his first time. Walked on 4 pitches, so didn't really see too much to hit the first time. As Alderfer replaces Davis Turner on first base. Now 2 down. As it goes back to first base, Alderfer threatening to steal a big lead off there. But he scampers back before the throw gets back. Osiander drives one towards the gap. Coming in on it is Haywood, though. He has the room, and he makes the catch for out number 3. But Cam Clonch doubles the Spinners' lead with a home run to right center field. And it's a 2-0 ball game through 3 as we head to the 4th inning. Fourth inning on tap here at Moore Park, and a 2-0 lead for the Spinners after Cam Clonch doubled the Spinners' lead with a solo home run to right center field. As Landon Reeves will face Dane Frelick, and back to the top of the Copperheads lineup. Good pitch there to even the count up as Frelick led off the game with a ground out. Next pitch on the way, and a good, looked like a changeup maybe from Landon Reeves. Mixing up speeds well so far this game. Now the 1-2 runs upstairs. Frelick been one of the best hitters for this Copperheads lineup. A Fairview, North Carolina native. .279 average on the season. Runs the count full. 7 doubles on the season as well. So we'll see if he can pick up a big hit and a 3-2, and he just misses, does Reeves. And that's ball 4, a leadoff walk for Dane Frelick. And that brings up Isaac Armstrong. Hit his first home run of the season right here at Moore Park in one of the first meetings between these two teams. In fact, his only home run of the season back on June 4th, as this one's fouled down the third base line. Armstrong flied out his first time up. A do-it-all player for the Copperheads, and a big part of their lineup as well, hitting second and looking to get something going here against Reeves. 0-1, off-speed misses upstairs.
And Armstrong with the only 1 home run of the season, but we've seen him be a big power bat this year for Lake Norman. A lot of extra base hits, and is another guy that's been a pivotal piece of the heart of that Lake Norman lineup.
18 hits, 9 of them extra bases as this one back up the middle. A nice stab by Umbach, and he'll flip the second in time to get Frelick and the force. So a fielder's choice means Frelick is out. So Armstrong will reach first base as a runner, but won't get credit for the hit. And that'll bring up Luis Morales, who struck out his first time up. Not something you see Luis Morales do too often, go down on strikes, but looking to change things this time around. 25 for 77 this season is Morales. First pitch misses from Reeves. As we mentioned, just the second time Reeves has pitched this month, but he's been pretty good this month as well. As this throw will go back down to second. Going for second is Armstrong, and he just gets in there. An awkward slide, but it counts as a stolen base nonetheless. And the Copperheads' potential first run is in his scoring position, so Turner will come out and have a chat with this pitcher. Always nice to have a veteran presence behind the plate when you're a young pitcher like Landon Reeves, and you tend to think this mound visit will do a lot for a guy like him and calming his nerves a little bit in situations like these.
Yeah, and Gunnar, looking around the league here, Statesville still with that 4-1 advantage over the Concord A's. We see the Disco Turkeys now building up a 6-3 lead over the Regulators, and the Corn Dogs take a 4-3 lead in the bottom of the 5th inning. As the Corn Dogs, the favorites in that one, and take back the lead.
Morales in a 1-1 count here. A chance to knock in a run if he can find the outfield as Armstrong runs well at second. Pitch runs in. Nearly hit him, but it will be ball 2 here. Ready once again is Reeves. Next pitch right there for strike 2. Morales kind of looks like he's kind of frustrated himself for maybe not swinging at that pitch. Morales, another international player on this Copperheads team, a San Juan, Puerto Rico native. Joins Josh Jones as players born outside the U.S. as part of this Copperheads lineup. And both have made a big impact for the team. As Reeves checks back, 2-2. Swung on the other way by Morales in the air, and that'll be caught by the right fielder, Bullock. And no advancement from Armstrong. A great throw across the field to Osiander for out number 2. And that'll bring up Will Gray. Chance to do some damage with 2 outs.
Next up for the Copperheads, second baseman, number 9, Will Gray.
As looks like after Bullock fired that bullet to the third baseman, Osiander, now holding his arm. The second player tonight from Mooresville with some arm issues.
It looks like Bullock, I think, out there. Osiander did catch it, so he's on the infield. It looks like Bullock kind of, Yeah, just shaking out his left arm a little bit. I wonder if it's just kind of a lame arm sort of situation or whether hopefully it will be short term, but you never know. Even a short term injury could keep them out of the next few postseason games here.
The Spinners obviously with a lot of depth in that outfield, but Bullock, a guy that they're going to want to keep healthy. It looks like he's going to stay in this ball game for now. But something to watch out for in the later stages of this one.
Yeah, and with 2 outs, there's not too much emphasis on making a throw. It's all about just making the catch, I think, if you're Garrison Bullock. So maybe that's part of the decision to leave him out there is you don't really have to make a throw if you don't have to. Although it could be trouble if he gets into the gap or something like that. But Bullock will stay in the game in right field. And that means Will Gray, the second baseman, is due up next. Playing second and hitting in the cleanup spot for the Copperheads. Reeves' first pitch. Curveball upstairs. Hit or miss pitch so far for Reeves. If it's good, it's really fooling these Copperheads hitters, but sometimes he just misses up a little bit. And that can be the difference between ball 1 and strike 1. As Gray resets. Back in the batter's box to try and do some damage and get the Copperheads offense going. 1-0, that time a beautiful curveball. As we mentioned, there's the hit factor. Completely froze Will Gray in that situation. Now the count back even. Cale Ayler stands on deck. 1-1, swung on by Gray and out of play. Reeves has done well so far in 2 strike counts. Only 1 strikeout so far. We'll see if he can force the final out of the 4th inning. Ready with the 1-2. Pitch on the way. Fastball, but dropped by Turner. So nonetheless, it will be a 2-2 count. A lot of spin on that fastball from what it looks like. Tough for any hitter to hit. Now the 2-2 on the way. Reeves' next pitch. Misses outside with the curveball. Turner, though, nods in approval. It was a good pitch, he thought. And now the count runs full. Lots of payoff pitches early in this game. And Reeves ready with another one. Check back to second. Here comes the pitch. Swung on and out of play once again. Second foul ball of Will Gray's at bat. Will keep his at bat alive for at least 1 more pitch. Reeves ready with another 3-2. Pitch on the way is foul back to the screen. Copperheads doing a good job throughout the night of just making contact with the pitches they see in the strike zone. And haven't really swung at too many chase pitches, especially since Landon Reeves came in the game. As Reeves shakes off the first suggestion, now has his pitch. Another 3-2 on the way and swung on and foul. If Will Gray is doing nothing else, he's certainly battling in this at-bat.
Yeah, much the same with the first pitcher, A.J. Camp, and now with Reeves on the bump. These Copperheads batters just battling deep into counts and hoping for a pitch to hit. The base is open for Reeves, though, at first.
Pitch number 8 of the at-bat. On the way from Reeves. Swung on in a drive towards right field. Bullock going back on it. It'll be over his head, off the wall. Here comes Armstrong to score, and Will Gray has a stand-up double. The Copperheads' first run in an important spot here in the 4th. And we have a ball game. It's 2-1.
A hard hit ball right there from Gray over the head of Garrison Bullock. Nothing he could do about it. And the Copperheads showing some life here.
A hard-earned run and a hard-earned hit for Will Gray as he finally gets the pitch to hit on the 8th pitch of the at-bat and puts it over Garrison Bullock's head for a clean double. And finally, the Copperheads break through as Ayler sends one in the air towards center field. Steele will come over. He has room and he makes the catch. That will retire the side, but not before the Copperheads get on the board as Will Gray, with a 2-out RBI double, scores Isaac Armstrong. We have a game here at Moore Park. It's 2-1 when we come back for the bottom of the 4th. And we're back for the bottom of the 4th inning. The Copperheads getting a run across in the top of this inning as Garrison Bullock walked his first time up. Playing right field tonight. We'll see if coming up lame on that throw a little bit earlier from out the outfield affects his at-bat in any way, but he's behind 0-2 here to Nick Solar, who's done a decent job at limiting the damage, but a couple hard-hit balls resulting in some runs as Cam Claunch, his home run giving the 2-0 lead to the Spinners, as he did go around in the 0-2. Garrison Bullock down on strikes, could not check his swing in an 0-2 count, and that brings up Matthew Cipriano for his second at-bat of the night.
Yeah, a really good 0-2 pitch right there. Beard it in the dirt where Bullock could not touch it. End up going around for out number 1.
Now Matthew Cipriano, another solid bottom of the order bat, has been consistent all season. First pitch misses. Nick Solar having to face quite a few lefties in this lineup. See Claunch, Turner, Bullock, and Cipriano all left-handed swings. 1-0 turns to 1-1 as Cipriano swings through that one. And it has been the lefties that have given him the most trouble so far, as Cam Claunch was the one who hit the home run off of him. Solar's 1-1 to Turner. Cipriano, as that one drops into left field. And Cipriano has his first hit of the night. It'll be hit number 5 on the night for the Spinners with 1 out. That'll bring up Anthony Umbach, who's called out on batter's interference last time up. As Jess Osiancer went for a steal from second to third. Umbach apparently got in the way, according to the home plate umpire, and was called out. He'll get another chance, though, for his third time as he takes the upstairs fastball from Solar. Led off the game with the single and scored the first run of the game for the Spinners from third base. Solar checks back to first, 1-0. Misses outside, looks like he went back to the fastball, but didn't get quite the location he was looking for. I think this just shows the power of the Spinners lineup. They can hurt you from 1 through 9, as you said, in any sort of way. First real struggle Solar has had all year. 2-0, a beautiful breaking ball. Drops right into the middle of the strike zone to make it a 2-1 count. Now the 2-1, another perfect off speed, and as we said, been heavily relying on that curveball. 4 strikes, really has fooled these Spinners hitters most of the time. Using that curveball to go from 2-0 to 2-2. We'll see what he goes with. Whether he can get the out on Umbach. Instead he goes to the fastball outside, and a 3-2 on the way to Umbach. Had a patient approach tonight at the plate. And particularly in this at-bat, we'll see if it pays off for him with a man on first base. Instead, he drives it back up the middle. A weird hop, but Gray fields it 1 and 2. And the double play sends us through the 4th inning. Will Gray takes it himself for the solo double play. The 4-3 force out. And we'll go to the 5th inning as the Spinners lead it 2-1 when we come back. Back here for the 5th inning as the Copperheads get back to work. 6, 7, 8 hitters due up this inning for the away team. It'll be Parker Staborski, Brock Fowler, and Caden Haywood due up for the Copperheads this time around. First pitch, a beautiful one from Landon Reeves to get this at-bat started. Parker Staborski walked his first time up and was the final batter that A.J. Camp faced before he had to come out of the game early due to what looked like an arm issue. Lost control a little bit afterwards. Oh-2 on the way from Reeves. Misses away with a look to be an off-speed. Staborski does have a pretty good eye at the plate. He's drawn 13 walks this season. Raised his on-base percentage significantly, but the 1-2 right down Broadway for strike 3. And a good start to this 5th inning for Landon Reeves as he gets Staborski down looking. And that'll bring up Brock Fowler, the DH. He swung and missed his first time. And this is the part of the lineup for the Copperheads. You've got to get something going. The top of the order has been pretty consistent, but it's been up and down for the Copperheads over the season. If you get a lot of hits from this bottom half of your lineup, you probably have a pretty good chance to win. The problem is not many of the hitters have those nights at the same time. And when you're facing a club like the Spinners with all this pitching talent, it's going to be tough to get something going, but we'll see if they can get something going here. One down, 1-1 pitch on the way. As this one driven towards short. What a play by Alderfer, up and throwing in time to get Fowler. Nick Alderfer playing spoiler. And a beautiful throw across the diamond for out number 2. We'll bring up Caden
a very
Haywood.
much hard hit ball right there from Fowler. Alderfer making the sliding play, throws it over to the first baseman for out number 2, and we continue to see Landon Reeves rolling even now. The Copperheads, these batters, second time facing Reeves on the bump. We'll see if they fare any better.
Haywood grounded out his first time. Takes a first pitch strike. And if there's one thing Reeves has not been afraid to throw, the fastball over the plate in early. Now the 0-1 goes to the breaking ball and misses. Now the 1-1 misses away.
And Reeves may be kind of a surprising pick for a guy in an elimination game to put up there on the bump when he first came in this game, but has been just what the Spinners needed after Camp had to exit the game early. Only allowing that 1 RBI double to Will Gray, but other than that, you couldn't ask anything more from him.
And certainly not any better of a curveball in that 2-1. Misses Haywood's bat in the perfect way. Now the 2-2. Swung on the fastball, and that will drop into shallow right field. Caden Haywood has another hit for the Copperheads. Only the 3rd of the night for the away team, but they keep the inning going. And brings up Josh Jones, who had 1 of those hits in his first time up. A single, and now he'll face Landon Reeves for a second time. A guy to keep your eye on to see whether Copperheads hitters adjust to Reeves after seeing him multiple times. Beautiful first pitch, though. Tipped into the glove of Turner by Jones. And ahead 0-1 is Landon Reeves as he looks to go deep into this ball game and keep the Spinners lead. They lead 2-1 here as this one's popped out of play by Jones. A pleasant surprise for the Spinners, who thought they'd be in more of a dogfight maybe when A.J. Camp went down. They have been, but they still lead it here. Reeves 1 strike away from getting out of the 5th inning and preserving the lead. 0-2 on the way, just misses with the fastball. And we've seen him have some consistency around the strike zone. Has been aiming for the outside part of the plate, mostly to these right-handed hitters. Not too much inside. 1-2 goes back to the curveball and fouled out of play.
Yeah, and I think that's what Reeves have been doing best is just, kind of dancing around the strike zone. He's been, setting up these batters really well. We saw him go with back-to-back fastballs, then with the off-speed, and really puts Jones on the back foot in a 1-2 count.
Reeves, deep breath, 1-2, right there for strike 3. And Reeves does retire the side. Spinners still lead it through 4.5 innings of work. Going back from the bottom of the 5th inning, we'll see if the Spinners can get any more insurance from Moore Park. And a pitching change for the Copperheads here in the bottom of the 5th inning as Nick Solar exits after allowing 2 runs, over 4 innings. He'll give way to Joe Javier, the right-hander. First pitch swinging and missing is Tyler Steele. Spinners will get back to work here. 1 for 2 on the night is Steele, a single and a line out. Javier, another Cox Mill graduate, and gets ahead of Steele here, 0-2. Has made 2 appearances this season, 8 2/3 innings of work. 1-0 with the 5.1 ERA is Javier, senior at Pfeiffer. 0-2 is swung on and just out of play. And as we've seen tonight, Tyler Steele, a tough man to strike out, even when you get him to these 0-2 counts. And he fouls off another 2-strike pitch here. Another 0-2. Upstairs from Javier. At 5'11", 170, not the biggest guy on the mound, but still has the velocity to match even the best starters in the SCBL. And will face Steele, Claunch, and Turner this inning. Heart of the lineup as the 1-2 runs inside here to Steele. Oh, 2-2-2. Next pitch on the way from Javier. Popped up. It looks like it'll stay in play just, and caught by Spillman. Looks like he dropped it, actually. That's what the home plate umpire indicated. Went for the ball, and it was right near the Copperheads dugout. A tough play to make behind the plate, and wasn't able to come up with it. So Steele stays alive, maybe rather fortunately.
Yeah, it's a very tough play for Spillman right there. Just having to track that ball in the air. And those always behind the home plate can be tricky for the catchers.
2-2, swung on by Steele, just fair, and down the left field line. Steele around first, going for second. The throw from Jones in left will not beat the speedy Tyler Steele, and he's got another extra base hit, his second of the night. And now 6 extra base hits on the season for the Spinners center fielder. A great start to this bottom of the 5th.
And now comes in Cam Claunch, a guy that already with a home run on the night. And looking for some more RBIs here. Opens up a lot of things with Steele's speed on second base. It's kind of what we saw within the first inning. Umbach's speed got on and was able to drive in a sac fly. See if the Spinners can put up another run.
And if there's any guy that's had success tonight, it's been Cam Claunch. As from second to third goes Steele as Javier loses control of his first pitch to Cam Claunch. Player of the night so far. A hit by pitch and a home run that has been the difference so far between these two teams. Spinners lead at 2-1 here in the bottom of the 5th. But some insurance only 90 feet away as Claunch fouls this one way out of play towards the neighborhood here near Moore Park behind the third base side. Any ball into the outfield likely scores Steele. Claunch awaits the 1-1. Javier's pitch off a knee and back past Will Gray. Here comes Steele. He scores. And the RBI single for Cam Claunch. Once again, the Mooresville kid comes up with a big hit in a big situation. And he knocks in his second run of the game and makes it 3-1 here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, Claunch taking advantage of the infield coming in. Gray with less reaction time is there to watch for the bunt and Steele at third base. And was able to get an RBI single. And the Spinners keep the bats rolling.
Turner a sac fly in his first at-bat and a walk in his second. Nothing in the batter's box except an RBI so far and a walk. Takes the first pitch strike from Javier. Still no one out in this bottom of the 5th. Spinners now lead it 3-1 after another RBI hit by Cam Claunch. From 2-1 to 3-1. Javier's next pitch skips up there past Spillman. The throw down to second is not in time, and it gets past Armstrong, but no advance. Farther than second for Cam Claunch, but he's now in scoring position.
And this is what the Spinners are best at, just getting those big innings and then going from there and looking to be threatening here. The heart of the order, a tough situation for Javier.
Turner, the cleanup hitter, one of the most dangerous. Javier's 1-1, another block from Cody Spillman behind the plate, and not the best control so far from Claunch, who struggled, or pardon, Joe Javier, who struggled so far in this outing. No outs recorded quite yet. 2-1. Rocketed by Turner down the right field lines. Haywood will watch it go, and Davis Turner has done it again. For the second time in 2 games, Davis Turner leaves Moore Park for good. And from 3-1, make it 5-1 as Davis Turner opens the floodgates here for the Spinners at Moore Park.
I mean, talk about a bat flip right there from Davis Turner. That ball was gone in a hurry, and he chucked that bat up a country mile. A 2-run home run for Turner, and the Spinners looking good to advance to the second round, Gunner.
All they needed was one big inning. How many times have we said that? And boy, do they have it now. 3 straight hits to lead off. This inning has turned the game from a 2-1 contest to a 5-1 lead in the blink of an eye. A double by Steele, a single by Claunch, and now the home run by Turner. All of a sudden, a 4-run lead. A chance to add on 2 as Jeremy Green will step in. 0 for 2 so far. Strikeout and a flyout for the DH as he puts this one out of play foul. Green also has the power potential. We've seen it quite a few times this season. Javier ahead 0-1. Chop swing by Green. Charging it is Frelick. The throw is scooped by Ayler. A nice play over there at first base. And a big first out. Gets Jeremy Green and brings up Nick Alderfer.
Yeah, tough play from Ayler over there at first base. Had to make a really good scoop. And the Copperheads could not afford another error right there. Get the first out of the inning. And Javier looking to keep things moving.
Number 13, Nick
Alderfer also 0 for 2. A ground out and a fielder's choice so far tonight for the shortstop. Javier's first pitch is a beautiful one. And an off-speed pitch we haven't seen too much up to this point. Hasn't really fooled any of the Spinners hitters so far with this fastball, as we saw from Davis Turner. Saw it all the way. Now the 0-1, and that time he went way upstairs with it and got the swing and a miss.
Javier looks to be settling in a little bit after that home run from Turner.
See if he can continue the momentum here. 1-1. Looks like he went around. He did. And as he was down 0-2, as a matter of fact, contrary to the 1-1 spectators may have seen on the video board, that is strike 3. And Alderfer down on a check swing. As Osiander back up 0 for 1 on the night, a walk and a fly out.
Next up, third baseman, number 38, Josh Osiander.
So Joe Javier will look to set down 3 batters in a row after allowing 3 hits to start the inning. A tough ask against Osiander, who's been one of the best hitters in the league. as we've mentioned time and time again for this Spinners team. First pitch missed to Osiander. Now the next runs way up. Osiander to duck out of the way of that one. Some shaky control in some of these at-bats for Joe Javier, who looks to get out of the inning, but already 3 runs across and 3 balls here. As Joe Javier goes into the dirt there to get some dirt on his hand, maybe give him a little bit more grip on the baseball. It is a very humid night here in Mooresville. Always testing to see how baseball players deal with the heat. 3-0 turns to 4-0, and Josh Osiander draws his second walk of the night and keeps the inning alive. And his second 4-pitch walk at that. Has not seen too much to hit so far tonight. That'll bring up Garrison Bullock 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout.
Garrison Bullock.
So Bullock, the right fielder, hitting 8th, and a chance to do some damage. Fouls the first pitch off the screen right in front of us here. Thank you for tuning in here on the SCBL YouTube channel, as tonight is the first round of the playoffs, and this one gets past Spillman and Osiander back into scoring position again. Second time tonight. As we talked about a little bit on the broadcast, 4 games tonight. A single elimination format through the first quarterfinal round tonight and the semifinals tomorrow. And then the championship series, a best of 3 between Thursday and Saturday. The winner of this game will face the winner of the 3rd-seeded Queen City Corn Dogs and the 6th-seed Uwharrie Wampus Cats. As this one's popped up in the air by Bullock. Coming in on it is Haywood and Gray. It'll be Gray that makes the catch, and that retires the side, but not before. Cam Claunch knocks in Tyler Steele for the 3rd run before Davis Turner tees off on a ball to right field. And the Spinners have a 5-1 lead heading into the 6th. Zane will be taking over on color when we come back. Thank you for joining us.
Cody Spillman will start things off here for the Copperheads in the top half of the 6th inning. They have a 5-1 deficit. And the first pitch of the inning will run in to get Spillman. Good things to start things off.
Have to take your little wins and just try and build some momentum one batter at a time if you're the Copperheads. And now you're back to the top of the order with Dane Frelick. Good start this inning as Landon Reeves does stay out there. his longest start of the season so far, into his 5th inning of work now. Has pitched about 2 2/3 innings. Perfect stopgap for the Spinners tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Reeves has been everything they needed so far. As Frelick 0 for 1 in the evening with a ground out and a walk. As he has Spillman over at first base. Copperheads trail 5-1 here after a 3-run bottom half of the fifth inning, led by that 2-run home run by Davis Turner. This one, a first-round matchup of the SCBL playoffs. A swing and a miss from Frelick, and that's strike 3. 3 pitches, 3 strikes from Reeves, and Frelick sits down for the second time tonight.
Yeah, that's just a tough play there. Just kind of, you always get the ones where it tips into the glove, and they've had quite a few of those tonight of the Copperheads, but Davis Turner reliable at keeping the ball in the glove for the most part. And now Isaac Armstrong, not the first time he's had a runner on. We'll see if he can do something here.
Yeah, had a fielder's choice his last time up, ended up stealing that base at second, and scored that lone run for Lake Norman tonight off the bat. Have a double from Will Gray. An update from Winston-Salem. The Disco Turkeys now lead 9-5 over the Regulators. That's in the bottom half of the 6th inning. As Charlie Jones came in for Levi Strom, and 5 strikeouts in 2 innings. Not too shabby from one of the best pitchers in the league, a High Point commit. By way of Wake Forest, the 1-0 is a strike. And going over to Queens University, as the Corn Dogs still with a lead over the Wampus Cats at 6-3 in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Queen City with 10 hits on the night. And Statesville with a 6-2 lead over the A's. Statesville trying to make up for a disappointing postseason last year with a 2 seed and then lost both games in the playoffs. Actually lost their final game to the Copperheads. But standing as the 1 seed and holding that 6-2 advantage in the bottom half of the 7th.
Yeah, the Owls and the Spinners seem to be, as of right now, on a collision course to maybe be the 2 teams that play for the championship. A beautiful pitch there from Landon Reeves. See if Armstrong can protect the plate here in a 2-2. He's put the ball in play twice, just hasn't really found the gaps.
As we'll see how long Reeves is going to go. No activity in that Spinners bullpen, so sticking with their guy, a little bit more of a cushion here, 4 runs. The 2-2 misses outside. Good take from Armstrong, runs the count full. And another base runner on here for the Copperheads will be big with only 1 out in the inning.
This is the pivot point for this inning if you're the Copperheads.
3-2, that's swung on by Armstrong, past the second baseman, Anthony Umbach. And 2 runners will be on for Luis Morales. Very similar to Armstrong's last at-bat. Kind of some weak contact that is a tough place for those infielders the last time he got out, but now reaches on that infield single. And we'll see Trent Carr go out there and have a chat with Reeves on the bump. Reeves just allowing that lone run by way of Will Gray after coming in for relief of A.J. Camp, who had to exit the game early due to some arm issues.
Yeah, I think this is a good spot to refocus and just have a little bit of a chat. I think if you're the Spinners coaching staff, you've got a guy in Luis Morales who you know is probably going to more than likely put the ball in play this at-bat. You just got to be ready on the infield and the outfield to just make the right play. If you can get this second out, I think it'll bode well for your chances of keeping them off the board.
And Landon Reeves will stay on the bump, and it looks like, they're going to play the Queen City Corn Dogs more than likely, holding that 6-3 lead in the top of the 8th inning. And that would be a very good game, potentially the 2 best lineups in the league, battling out the 2 seed versus the 3 seed, but still lots to play for down in South Charlotte and here up in Mooresville. Morales has been red hot all summer long, cooled off as of late, but still has one of the best averages in the Southern Collegiate Baseball League. Back-to-back years as an all-star. Last year for the Regulators, this year for Lake Norman. 1-0. It's a fastball taken from Morales. As you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Gunnar Morales, a JUCO guy, now committing to D1 Florida Gulf Coast. And that's one of the great things with the SCBL is giving a lot of these JUCO guys and smaller school guys opportunities to get their name out there. And Morales, much deserving of a D1 roster spot.
Certainly so, and he's showcased his ability to just hit, just flat out hit in all honesty, and has found a role at the top of the Spinners lineup. Been reliable all summer long.
1-2 on the way. Taken from Morales, but just misses the zone. As Reeves has been dotting up the fastball in this inning. Armstrong stands on second. Excuse me, that's Spillman at second base and Armstrong at first. The 2-2 is in the dirt. Count runs full. And potentially the biggest pitch of the night right here from Landon Reeves.
Maybe this is the real pivot point of the inning.
3-2. Morales will swing. That's to the second baseman, Umbach. And that will get through. As we'll see Spillman, he will score. Armstrong standing up at third base. The Copperheads fighting back. It's a 5-2 ball game with only one out in the inning.
And that's just a tough play for Anthony Umbach, who made a great play to snag the ball there. Likely should have gone to first base with it, but instead tried to turn the double play and get really fancy with it. And unfortunately, the throw is offline, goes into the outfield. And next thing you know, the Copperheads back on the board here.
As that'll be all she wrote for Landon Reeves. He will be accountable for Isaac Armstrong standing at third base, but we're going to stay right here at Moore Park while have their new pitcher coming into the game. As the Disco Turkeys now a 4-run advantage over the Regulators. It's a 9-5 ball game, top half of the second inning after a 3-run bottom of the sixth inning. The Disco Turkeys, a new addition to the Southern Collegiate Baseball League this summer, was wishing for kind of a better summer, ended up being the 4-speed. And we'll have to play the Owls, more than likely, if they do win tonight. Shaw coming into the game for Charlie Jones. He's faced 3 batters and struck out 2 of them. As Ryan Lee has 2 RBIs in that game. Watson with 2 ribbies. And then Herbst, Tucker, Jones, and Boone Herman with an RBI as well. Copperheads, a team that in the last couple seasons have struggled to find success, especially in the postseason, but a win tonight would be quite monumental for Lake Norman. A team that was kind of almost looked down and out in this ball game. Gets a run in this inning. And the Spinners kind of a weak point here, throwing out Camp, having to go out early, and opens up a lot of doors.
Yeah, this is an interesting choice, I think. If you're the Spinners, to go to Josh Osiander out of the bullpen. He's thrown a lot of innings. We've seen the kind of offensive threat he's been in, but he's not been too bad of a pitcher either. If you look at some of his numbers, he's been
very
solid out of the
interesting to see
bullpen.
Osiander on the bump here, especially in a playoff elimination game. Gunnar, tell us a little bit about his pitching stats so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's pitched 10 innings, so not too much of a lengthy innings guy. You'll probably see him pitch maybe about 1 or 2 innings for the most part. His longest outing has been 3 innings. He's had a 5.4 ERA through 10 innings. Doesn't walk too many guys. Strikes out a decent amount of guys. It's really been the hits that have kind of affected him most and maybe lead to some of the runs he's given up. Has faced the Copperheads twice and hasn't allowed a run in 2 2/3 innings in 2 outings so far this season, so you'll hope that's the case here. Maybe looking to get through the 6th and 7th innings, I think. And then you can turn to some of your fireballers out of the bullpen. If you're the Spinners, maybe a guy like Jamie Weinkoff, who we've seen pitch in late innings, or maybe rely on a guy like Terry Kaler to come out of the bullpen too. It's all about what happens in these next few innings.
As the first batter, Osiander will have to face is Will Gray. And I got to say, this is probably the most vulnerable I've seen the Spinners look all season long, especially on the pitching side of things. The Copperheads looking to strike with runners on the corners, Armstrong standing on third, and Morales at first base. 0-1. Swing and a miss from Gray. 2 pitches, 2 strikes from Osiander.
And that's what you needed, a guy to really just come out firing on the mound, and Osiander has done just that. Now the pressure's on the Copperheads to execute their at-bats here. You got a chance to do some damage.
0-2, fires home. A tough take right there from Gray. Stays alive.
And Osiander, no better two-way player, maybe, in the league. You can see how effective he is as a pitcher. We've seen how effective he's been as a player all year.
As this is the 1-2 from him, Morales will be going swing and a miss, trying to double him up right here. Morales is in there safely, and the throw to third base is a wild one. We'll see Armstrong score. Morales will stay at third base. What a wacky turn of events for the third run of the evening for the Lake Norman Copperheads. Will Gray, a swinging strike 3 right there. We see Morales take second base. The throw from Turner not in time. And we see Umbach trying to get Armstrong at third base over the head of the new Spinners third baseman. Armstrong advances home, and Morales to third base. It's a 2-run ball game. 2 runs here scored by Lake Norman in the top half of the inning.
Yeah, and maybe you just kind of want to eat it at second base after you don't get the call there. Just a little bit of an inaccurate throw there. It looked like from potentially Alderfer over there at second or shortstop. Now the inning stays alive, and all of a sudden, tying run still at the plate, but you get within a 1-run game maybe if you get a hit here with Cale Ayler. New ball game once again.
1-0 from Osiander, swung on by Ayler. That's going to be to the first baseman, and flipped over to Umbach for out number 3. So the Copperheads put up a 2 spot in the top half of the inning, but still trail by 2. It's a 5-3 Mooresville Spinners lead here live on the SCBL YouTube channel. Stick with us for some more playoff action from Moore Park. Joe Javier back on the bump for Lake Norman after allowing 3 runs in his first inning of work.
Number 12, Emmy Walker.
It looks like Sammy Walker will come in for Matthew Cipriano in left field. First pitch of the inning from Javier is a off-speed pitch that misses high.
Yeah, this is an interesting substitution. You definitely want to switch something up if you're the Spinners, but I didn't think it would be on the batting side as well as the pitching side. Made a couple of changes after A.J. Camp's untimely exit early, but it seemed to me like the Spinners had something pretty good going throughout their lineup tonight. So we'll see if Sam Walker can inject some energy into this offense here. Was ahead 2-0 and swung through that one.
As Javier will try to calm the storm here in this inning after his offense put up 2 runs and made it a 5-3 game. Make that a 2-2 count now after Walker frozen on the off speed. Javier looks in. 2-2 on the way. Misses low and in the dirt, runs the count full.
And then maybe the theme of the game has just been patience for a lot of these hitters. The Spinners rewarding themselves a little bit more in those situations.
Swung on and off into the backstop. The count will stay full as we see the Wampus Cats get a run back in the top half of the 8th inning, make that a 6-4 Corn Dogs lead now. Wampus Cats with 9 hits on the evening, and the Corn Dogs with 10. And then make that a 7-4 ball game now as Will Durrell actually just hit a sac fly. So the Corn Dogs just 3 outs away from making it to the 2nd round.
What a matchup that would be for this Spinners team. Pitching depth also, as that one runs way inside, and another walk here for these Spinners. What looks like to be their 5th walk of the night.
And
have
with that
earned their base runners.
Yeah, and with that walk, we'll see the top of the lineup come up with Anthony Umbach. Umbach had a double play his last time up. Got on the batter's interference, but led off the night with a single. So Walker stands on first, being held on by Ayler. Umbach shows bunt, pulls it back, but it's going to be a strike anyways.
That's an interesting tactic, I think. I don't hate the idea of putting down a bunt here. You got a speedy guy in Sam Walker that will likely threaten as a stealing base potential, as does a lot of the team. And nearly broke there.
As Spillman lets that one kind of trickle to the side. Walker decides not to go, stands on first base. It'll be a 1-1 count. As you mentioned earlier, a very good showing on the Monday evening here at Moore Park by the Spinners faithful. And always has some great crowds here in Mooresville, kind of a staple of the downtown area and the community as a whole. 1-1, misses from Javier.
Yeah, Umbach, I think, since the switch to the top of the lineup has really rejuvenated his summer. He's had a lot more success in the second half. It's been a nice bat in the leadoff spot.
2-1 popped up into the screen right in front of us. And the count will go all even at 2-2. As we do see some activity in that Copperheads bullpen, so something to look after if Javier's control issues continue to be a problem. 2-2 on the way. Fires back to first base, not a bad idea. As Walker has shown that he's not afraid to toy with Javier on the bump. Two-two. A good off speed, but a tough take from Umbach. Runs the count full. Plate discipline has been one thing that the Mooresville Ball Club has really done a great job at tonight. Laid off on some good off-speed pitches, and Umbach in a full count. Javier throws the fastball, but Umbach fouls it off into the road behind us, and will stick with a full count. It's a 5-3 ball game. No outs here in the bottom half of the inning. The Spinners in their first round game looking for their 4th straight SCBL championship. Javier fires back again to first base, but no luck. Three-two on the way. Misses low and in the dirt, ball 4. And Javier walks the first 2 batters of the inning.
And this is kind of how most of these Spinners' big innings start, is just a walk or a leadoff hit. It can really snowball fast, and it looks like Noah Jarrett isn't taking any chances here. It's a valiant job from Joe Javier to stick through a couple innings, but unfortunately for him, as I thought maybe he was going to come out of the game. We'll see if they decide to stick with him. It will be tough against Tyler Steele to get an out here. Obviously, he's 2 for 3 tonight. And not exactly the guy you'd want to face in this situation with the no outs and runners in first and second.
As that'll be the end of Javier's night, and Lake Norman will bring in a new pitcher to the game. Looking around the league once more, the Disco Turkeys holding a 6-9 advantage over the Regulators after the Regulators Baseball Club was able to put up 1 run in the top half of the 7th inning. As the Regulators with 6 hits on the evening and the Disco Turkeys with 8. The Turks still holding that 3-run advantage.
It looks like they go to Jackson Edwards here out of the bullpen. He hasn't made an appearance since July 3rd, so it'll be an interesting choice here. Hasn't pitched against the Spinners yet this season, but he's been a decent pitcher for this team. Certainly an imposing presence on the mound at 6'4", 210.
As it was unfortunate last night, the Home Run Derby had to be canceled due to some rain normally held right here at Moore Park. As this Copperheads team, certainly with a good effort here so far, only trailing by 2. And we've seen much crazier things go on in this league, so I wouldn't be surprised with the comeback. But with this single elimination format we see this season, makes every playoff game just oh so more important.
Yeah, and really puts the pressure on. You know, you'd think a lot of these teams like the Owls, the Spinners, the Corn Dogs would cruise through their first round matchups, but it really hasn't been that way at all. Every game has been close tonight, and really showing your best on best maybe for the first time, as you've been wanting guys to get opportunities throughout the season. And now it's now your best versus the other team's best, and a lot of the games are going to be a lot closer than maybe you would have expected, especially maybe guys like the Copperheads putting out their best pitchers and giving the game to one of the best teams in the league.
And the Statesville Owls 6. Also top of the 8th, the Disco Turkeys 9-6.
As we hear the fans here at Moore Park getting some updates on some games around the league. So Jackson Edwards on the bump for Lake Norman. We see Sam Walker at second base and Anthony Umbach at first. As Tyler Steele, the center fielder, up for the 4th time tonight. He's 2 for 3 on the evening with a double and a single. Runners will be going. The throw down the third base for Spillman is not a bad one, and it's going to get him. Sam Walker thrown out at third by the arm of Cody Spillman behind the dish, and that's out number 1.
What a big play that is. Keeping these runners in check, and really that could be a turning point here and give Jackson Edwards some confidence. Instead of 2 runners on, now you can only focus mostly on the player in front of you.
As that's a poked ball into left field, that ball's going to get down. Anthony Umbach will stay at third base. So runners on the corners for Mooresville The third hit of the evening for Tyler Steele. What an addition he's been mid-season for this Mooresville lineup.
Yeah, already 3 hits on the night. Quite a few multi-hit games, including a 6-for-6 night. And that's one of the first games he played for the club, so that just shows you his ceiling. And if that's his ceiling, that's pretty scary. If I'm anybody else in the league as a pitcher facing this guy, he could be the difference maker for the Spinners team down the stretch.
And another guy that's been a difference maker for this Morrisville ball club at the disc, Cam Clunch, had that solo home run earlier in the third inning and recorded an RBI double his last time up. 2 for 2 in the evening as he was hit by a pitch his first time up in the helmet. That one misses low and in the dirt. So we'll see Tyler Steele advance to second base, but Unbach will stay at third. As Edwards having to deal with this heart of the order, coming in a tough situation for Javier.
Yeah, now the pressure back on, too. Right back up to second and third, and now they're going to load the bases, it looks like. An intentional walk here to Cam Clunch. Don't see that too often.
And guess what? You intentionally walk a guy that hits a home run, and you bring up a guy that hit a home run as well tonight. That being Davis Turner, who hit a 2-run home run over the right field wall. Davis Turner has been a part of these 3 Spinners championships, trying to make it a 4th here. First pitch he sees tonight from Edwards is a strike. Turner is officially with 3 RBIs on the evening, as in his first time up hit a sac fly into center field that scored Anthony Umbach. Walked his second time up and, of course, had that 2-run homer last time.
Yeah, not another great situation here. You do have the double play chance now with Turner, but he's been on fire tonight. 1 for 1 with the walk and that home run last time up.
As now it's going to be the second baseman, Will Gray. 4-6, and they won't get the 3. Davis Turner barely legs out what would have been an inning-ending double play. Anthony Umbach scores, and the Spinners record their 6th run of the evening by way of a controversial call from the field umpire.
Yeah, not too many people on the Copperhead side liking that call. They thought for sure they got him on the infield. Spinners fans maybe thinking he didn't think so.
Thank you, sir.
So it'll be runners on the corners. Turner standing on first base. And Tyler Steele at third for Jeremy Green. A play that could potentially turn the tides of this game. Steele will be taking home. These Spinners, back-to-back pitches, back-to-back runs. It's a 7-4 advantage for Mooresville.
And just like that, this game has turned on its head from what could have been an inning-ending double play. Now 2-run score when you really didn't need them to. And that advantage right back up to where it was before this inning started. Both teams now scoring 2 in this inning.
That one spiked into the dirt from Edwards, past Spillman. Davis Turner advances up to third base. It's a 2-0 count to Green at the dish. 7-3 Spinners advantage, where with about a half a step, it could have been a 5-3 game going back to the Copperheads. Shows how baseball can be so close at times. Fastball misses low from Edwards. The 3-0 count now.
Yeah, and this, no wonder they call baseball a game of inches. You're an inch away maybe from getting out of this inning, preserving what would have been a 2-run game, and now you find yourself down 7-3. You've got run number 8 90 feet away. How times have changed for this Copperheads team. Such a shame for them.
3-1, that's going to be to Armstrong at shortstop. He'll make the routine play for out number 3. The Spinners put up a 2-spot in the inning. They lead 7-3 here in Mooresville. And the Lake Norman Bats will have to wake up as they trail here in an elimination game. Parker Staborski due up for Lake Norman here. It's 6-7-8 for the Copperheads as they trail 7-3 here at Moore Park. Staborski trying to lay down the bunt but misses it. As Osiander back out for a second inning of work. Now with that 4-run cushion, it's an 0-1. Swung on by Staborski. That's in the center field. We see Tyler still tracking back towards the wall. And that one's off the top of the wall. Staborski rounds one. He's going to be going two. It's a tough bounce off the wall for Steele. And a leadoff double for the center fielder, Parker Staborski.
Yeah, talk about going from a bunt, now a double. I think he maybe thought that was gone. He had himself quite the bat flip too, but just missed it. Went off the very top of the wall there. That's just what you need.
So Brock Fowler steps in. He's 0 for 2 in the evening. But the Copperheads need some runs, and they need them now. An elimination game for both squads here in the first round of the SCBL playoffs. First pitch to Fowler. High and inside for a strike. Good off speed from Osiander.
For Osiander, I think it's all about just focusing on each batter and each pitch at a time. Try and not worry as much about the runners.
0-1, and make that an 0-2. Back-to-back, great off-speed pitches from Osiander. And now Fowler on the back foot of the box. Parker Staborski standing on second base, being held on by Umbach. Fowler calls time. swing and a miss from Fowler. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. And Fowler strikes out for the second time this evening.
That's a big first out and kind of neutralizes in a way. That's Daborski double.
Copperheads right fielder, number 24, Caden Haywood.
What you don't want as a pitcher is allowing multiple guys to get on at the start of the inning. That really puts the pressure on you, but if you can live and die when you're up 4 runs, you can kind of live with one guy being on, and you don't have to stress too much.
As first pitch swinging from the right fielder, Caden Haywood. As we heard it over the loudspeaker here, but just to make it official, the Queen City Corn Dogs move on to the next round of the SCBL playoffs, a 7-4 win over the Uwharrie Wampus Cats, and that's the end of the Wampus Cats season. Their first year in the SCBL. And we're a great addition, have a great fan base out there in Albemarle. But we'll go down in the first round. Runner will be going. Staborski will get in there safely at third base. And now Staborski's be heading home, and he's going to be caught in a pickle. And he's going to be out of the base path. Staborski trying to make magic happen, but tagged out by Turner for out number 2.
Yeah, and looked like he maybe came out of the base pass a little bit. But Turner did, regardless, tag him. He got stuck in a bad spot there and just overall got a little bit too ambitious, you'd have to say.
Some news from Winston-Salem. The Regulators put up 4 in the top half of the 8th inning with still 1 out. It's a 10-9 Regulators lead. As I guess on paper that would be the most even-up game. The 4 versus the 5 here in the first round of the playoffs. The Regulators going from the worst team in the league this season to leading the league at one point. Ended up being the 5 seed, but looking to secure that first round victory. It's a 2-1. Misses low into the dirt, runs the count to 3-1.
Yeah, now Osiander can really relax. You prevented the run from scoring. There was a few wild pitches in there. This is really the pivotal point of this inning. You got to think the Copperheads are running out of time here to put some runs up.
3-1, misses inside for ball 4. A 2-out base runner for Lake Norman comes by way of Caden Haywood, reaches safely for the second time this evening.
Next up, number 30, the left
So
fielder,
the Regulators holding that 1-run advantage. And we got some news out of Statesville. The Concord Athletics hold a 8-6 advantage over the Statesville Owls. And it's loading right now to see the inning. But what an upset that would be. That's the bottom of the 8th inning, 8-7. The Owls put up 6 in the top half. That's in the left field. That ball is going to get down. Yet another 2-out base runner for Lake Norman coming by way of Josh Jones' second single of tonight. So yes, Concord leads 8-7 over the Owls. 6 runs in the top half of the 8th inning. And maybe upset of the year if they're able to pull that one out.
Yeah, in all honesty, I did think that was going to be a closer game than most people expected. While the A's really did not play well at the start of the year, they did have some good games at the end part of the year. And after the Owls started off so hot, they were scuffling a little bit.
Man, Boston Torres with 3 hits and 4 RBIs tonight. He's been the workhorse of that Concord lineup all season long and making it matter when it means the most with those 4 RBIs. And we also see RBIs from Flores, Staborski, and Rice. And that Concord lineup, 8-7 advantage, bottom of the 8th. It's a 1-0 as Cody Spillman up to the plate for Lake Norman. Copperheads still trail by 4, but 2 runners on and 2 outs here in the top half of the inning. And make that an 8-8 game now as the Owls tie things up. That game's back and forth like a tennis match almost. As possibly game of the season happening up at West Iredell High School. Looking at that Owls lineup, we see 4 RBIs on the night from Wyatt Stanley and 2 hits from him. Batting .438 this season. What a year Stanley's had. As the Owls have gone through 5 pitchers this evening.
Yeah, and hit another home run, did Wyatt Stanley tonight.
A 2-1 take from Spillman runs the count even at 2-2. Caden Haywood standing on second base. We see Josh Jones at first base. 2-2 count, 2 outs here in the inning. Got to imagine the Copperheads need at least 1 run out of this inning to keep their playoff hopes alive. 2-2 for Mosiander. Swung on, fouled off by Spillman. He stays alive. Now bases loaded in Winston-Salem as 2 outs in the top half of the 8th inning for the Regulators, and Trey Hernandez up. Regulators looking to build an advantage. Already put up 4 in the top half of the 8th. And a great chance to do more for Hernandez. 2-2 on the way. Did he go around? Yes, he did! A pivotal strikeout for Josh Osiander on the bump. And Spillman goes down on the strikeout. 7th inning stretch on the way. It's been a crazy night in the SCBL. Stick with us here at Moore Park. Back here for the top half of the 8th inning. Jackson Edwards out once again. It's bottom 7. 7-3 Spinners advantage after the Copperheads left 2 stranded. And that will run in and get the batter. Nick Aldifer reaches for the first time this evening.
Yeah, now a 13-9 Regulators lead. They've now scored 7 runs in the top of the 8th inning. What a comeback that is up in Winston-Salem. As if we look at the Owls game, now they lead it 9-8. As they've scored 3 runs in this bottom of the 8th inning after the A's took the lead with 8-6 in that top of the 8th inning. So they're now just 3 outs away from moving on to the next round.
Yeah, the Regulators putting up that 7 spot at the top half of the 8th inning. And now runners on the corners. It looks like both of the new additions into the SCBL, the Wampus Cats and the Disco Turkeys, will be going out in the first round potentially without a comeback from the Turks. They have 6 outs remaining on their evening. As kind of felt coming into the season, both of those clubs with high expectations, especially the Disco Turkeys, with the record they had as an independent team last year battling against Appalachian League teams and Coastal Plain League teams. It just shows the SCBL can battle with teams, and that long summer season gauntlet can put a lot of teams through a very tough test.
Yeah, and especially the Disco Turkeys, I think they've played really well offensively, especially considering they're a new team in the league. You always have to find new guys to be willing to play as many games as they have. And they kind of brought a, you could say, a national brand, since they were featured in the New York Times for their cool jerseys, but the pitching has kind of let them down, as we see tonight.
2-0. A strike from Edwards. Aldifer standing on first base, and Josh Osiander needs no explanation, or introduction, excuse me, as 2 walks already tonight, and was kind of the front runner for SCBL Player of the Year before Harrison Bouthelette had 4 home runs and 15 RBIs in 1 week. And it looks like he may be the runaway candidate for that award. A good pick from Spillman, and now we see Aldifer is going to be in a pickle. The Copperheads throw back to first, but not in time. As the Copperheads just not able to get those little meaningful plays that can turn the tides of the game. Last inning, it was that big double play that could have been. And then right there, potentially an easy out number 1. Aldifer slides back safely. 2-1. A strike from Edwards. Fouled off by Osiander. It's a 2-2 count now. Edwards looks in, shakes off 1 from Spillman, shakes off another, and likes the third. 2-2. A good off speed, but an even better take from Osiander. Osiander.
You could say he's a man of many talents. Just got off the mound, keeping the Copperheads scoreless in the 7th, and now
has looked like gonna maybe some confusion on the count there. As going up to West Howard High School with the Owls putting up those 3 runs in the bottom half of the 8th inning. They do lead by 1, top half of the 9th now, and Brendan Major will get the ball to go for the save in the first round. He gets Chris Lee for the first out of the inning, so only 2 outs remaining on the Concord A's season. As Major, one of the best pitchers for the Owls this year, normally a starting pitcher. But I mean, here in the playoffs, single elimination until the playoff series. You thought your best guys no matter what.
Yeah, you don't have to throw too many pitches, as we saw Josh Osiander go down there, and quickly back is Aldifer. So 1 down in this bottom of the 7th. Long game, any way you look at it, between these two. There's already 2 teams into those semifinals, as the Disco Turkeys finally get out of that top of the 8th inning. Or pardon, no they don't. Braden Moore just had an RBI single, now a 14-9 lead for the Regulators.
As I gotta say, when moving from the double elimination format to the single elimination format, I was kind of skeptical to see how these playoffs turned out, but I gotta say tonight has to be the most entertaining night all season from the SCBL. Lots of high-scoring affairs all over the league, and makes these teams turn it up a notch in the playoffs. 1-1 misses high and inside from Edwards. It's an 0-2 count to Gardner up at the dish for the A's. As back here in Mooresville, it's a 2-1 count, 1 out in the inning. Spenders still hold that 7-3 advantage, so some insurance run would be nice. A good 2-1 from Edwards runs the count even. Since Brendan Major has stepped on the bump, 6 strikes in a row. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts from Jackson Edwards has looked really good here in the bottom half. Sam Walker up for the second time this evening after replacing Matthew Cipriano.
Number 12, Sammy Walker.
Walker walked his first time up. A strike from Edwards right there. As yes, the Regulators now scoring 8 runs in the top half of the 8th inning. What a comeback they have. And they have 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs and a full count. As that ball's in the dirt, Spillman will throw down to second base, but it will not be in time. And Nick Aldifer reaches second. And the Disco Turkeys finally get that much-needed third out, get out of a nightmare top half of the 8th inning, allowing 8 runs. So the Regulators hold a 5-lead advantage. Disco Turkeys down to their final 6 outs potentially of the season.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be the end of that one, though. I do anticipate maybe the Disco Turkeys do have a comeback in them potentially.
1-2 from Edwards is in the dirt, gets past Spillman. Aldifer reaches third. And now the Concord A's down to their final out of the summer. It'll be all up to Aiden Rice, 0 for 3 on the evening, no runners on, and it's a 1-1 count. As we mentioned earlier, the Owls did not have the postseason they were looking for last season. Were the 2 seed, but lost both of their games in the playoffs. But the drivers of the SCBL regular season get the 1 seed. And now 2 strikes away from a second-round playoff berth. It's a full count to Sam Walker. Jackson Edwards 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. 3-2 on the way. And gets them frozen. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Jackson Edwards. Holds Mooresville scoreless. They still hold a 7-3 advantage. The Copperheads down to their final 6 outs here in the Southern Collegiate Baseball League playoffs, live from Moore Park. The top of the order due up for the Copperheads down to their final 6 outs. 1, 2, 3 for Lake Norman as Dane Frelick, who is over 2 in the evening, will go out against Josh Osiander. That one's to the first baseman, Clouch, and easy does it for out number 1.
It looks like Green that's over there now at first base. Maybe a few changes late in this game. Green, one of them going out into the field. We haven't seen him play too much in the field this summer, but mostly a first baseman if he does. Big confidence booster for Josh Osiander to get that out, first out in specific, so fast in that count.
Isaac Armstrong with a singles last time up for the 4th time this evening as we have a final score from Statesville. The Statesville Owls pull out a close game, 9-8 victory over the Concord A's, and they move on to the 2nd round of the playoffs and more than likely will play the Regulators Baseball Club.
Yeah, and half the semifinal group is official now. No upsets quite yet. Doesn't look like there'll be one here. It's all down to the Disco Turkeys to see if they can make a late comeback, but they trail by 9 runs here.
The take from Armstrong moves the count to 3-0 as, yes, that game up in Winston-Salem, the only game remaining left, and a double play from Joe Spetch turns into 2 outs in the bottom half of the 8th inning. That one's in the center field by Armstrong. We see Steele coming in on that ball, and that's going to land in front of him. The 2nd single of the evening from Isaac Armstrong keeps the bats moving for Lake Norman.
Yeah, it looked like Steele maybe reached on the error from Steele potentially right there.
Next up, the extra hitter, number 13, Luis.
The extra hitter, Luis Morales, up. Had an RBI single last time. Armstrong being held on by Green at first base, already with a stolen bag tonight. A first pitch take from Morales as a ball, as this game hits the 3-hour mark in Mooresville. One-0. An inside strike from Osiander, as kind of surprising, not a guy that we've seen work late into outings. Normally an inning, 1 innings guy or maybe 2 max, but the Spinners riding with them and the Copperheads have had difficulty hitting him.
Yeah, and maybe just a guy you go with till the Copperheads finally figure him out, which they haven't so far. So I think you just go till the wheels fall off maybe a little bit with Josh Osiander, who's been solid. Hasn't allowed too many hard contact balls, especially in a late game situation. Just the double from Parker Staborski early on, but then again, he was doubled off.
1-2 misses outside. The good thing with Osiander, it's not like a guy that you have to worry about his pitch count too much. Normally a position player, working as a 2-way tonight for Mooresville. 2-2 runs inside to Morales. It's going to be a full count. Normally the leadoff guy for the Coppers, but maybe the first time this season we've seen Morales bat in the 3-hole.
Yeah, I don't hate the decision either. You know, you got a contact hitter up in a good spot here. Chance to extend the inning. He doesn't really put the ball in play, and it's not some solid contact most of the time.
3-2. Swung on by Morales. That's to the shortstop, Nick Alda, for 6-4. And they will get the 3 double play from the Spinners. And a 0-run put up by the Copperheads at the top half of the 8th inning. They'll be down to their final 3 outs. Spinners still lead 7-3 here in Mooresville. Connor Paul comes in for Lake Norman, and will have to face 1, 2, 3 in this Spinners lineup. Starting with Anthony Umbach, his 5th time this evening at the dish against the lefty Paul. As the Disco Turkeys do get 1 run back in that first round matchup, it's a 14-10 lead over the Regulators, with the big lefty Derek Martinez up for the Turkeys.
Yeah, he struck out, it looks like, to end this 8th inning, so they'll need 5 runs to win the game, 4 to tie in that bottom of the 8th inning. And I think kind of the story of the season for the Disco Turkeys, just the pitching kind of letting them down at parts, at times. Not a lot of guys you can turn to for starting pitching other than maybe Charlie Jones and guys like that you've got on the team, but not really any established sort of bullpen or starter roles for this team. And I think that's what kind of let them down a little bit this season.
Yeah, and Charlie Jones was a dominant force kind of in the first half of the season. We saw him kind of back off in the second half due to his college kind of wanted him not to throw too many innings in the summer, as he's going to be a pivotal part of that high point rotation in the spring. We still saw him throw 2 scoreless innings tonight against the Regulators. Maybe it would have been a much different ball game if he was able to go deeper in that one. 2-1. Misses from Paul. Paul working out of the windup, 3-1 on the way. And the fastball misses high. The leadoff runner for the Spinners reaches safely here in the bottom half of the 8th inning.
And now Tyler Steele, what a night he's had too. 3 hits and 4 at-bats.
Steele with those 2 singles and a double. A good curveball right there from Paul. Freezes Steele. You see Umbach looking like he's going to steal, but decides to stay at first base. Paul, the 4th pitcher Lake Norman has thrown out tonight on the mound. And all he's got to do here is just get 3 outs and hope for the best with his offense.
Yeah, this might be the pivotal point. If you can get Tyler Steele out, that sets you up for some more momentum as you go down this order, though. It does not get much easier.
1-1. Paul tries to go back to the curveball, but can't locate that one. The winner of this game will have a matchup against the Queen City Corn Dogs. The Spinners would be hosting the Corn Dogs. If they win, and the Copperheads will be going on the road if they have a late comeback.
I think that's an intriguing matchup if it were to be the Spinners and the Corn Dogs. Probably the 2 teams with the most pitching depth in the league. It would certainly be an entertaining semifinal if it were to be here.
3-1, that's going to be in the right field. A single from Steele. Umbach will be staying at 2. And the first 2 batters of the inning for Mooresville reach safely. The 4th base hit of the evening from Tyler Steele. What a midseason pickup he's been for this Mooresville lineup.
And would you be surprised if I told you that's not only not his first, not his second, but his 3rd time having 4 hits in a game? That just shows the kind of player he is. And I'll tell you what, UNC Greensboro is pretty happy they've got him in their program for the next few years.
Paul's been leaning on the curveball tonight, able to locate another one, with Umbach sending at second and Steele at first base. Still no outs here on the bottom of the frame. Ball looks in, comes set. 0-1 on the way. A low miss from Paul. It's a 7-3 game right now, so if Paul can get out of this inning unscathed, a 4-run deficit for Lake Norman isn't insurmountable. Would definitely be tough, but we saw him put up 2 runs earlier in this ball game, that being in the top half of the 6th. A fastball for a high strike from Paul moves the count to 1-2. Paul comes set. 1-2 on the way. A good curveball, but that's roped into right field. That ball's going deep, 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 and will stay in the yard. We see Anthony Umbach Hill round 3 and will be going home. The throw to second. Is it time? What a throw from Caden Haywood. Read the bounce off the wall perfectly. It could be a tough one off those wooden walls. And Caden Haywood showing off the arm once again this summer. The Spinners score 1. It's an 8-3 lead. Davis Turner up with runners on the corners, 1 out in the inning. The infield will be in watching for Still at third base. First pitch to the AB from Paul misses high.
As we mentioned, doesn't get much easier throughout the lineup. And the Spinners putting up another run, a big insurance one at that. And that's a tough pitch to take if you're Turner, but that's just a perfectly placed curveball right there.
And Paul's curveball's a risky one. If they're waiting on the fastball, it's a perfect pitch, but if they're waiting back on it, they can drive it, as we just saw Clutch do. It's a 1-1 count, 1 out here in the bottom half of the 8th inning, live from Moore Park. Another curveball from Paul, and makes Turner look silly.
Yeah, that's been the one pitch that's really been working for him throughout the night. And maybe the one he goes back to in this count. See if he can get a chase here.
2-2 on the way. Goes with the fastball but misses. And you got to imagine Turner is going to be waiting for that curveball right here. Already been able to put 1 home run over the wall. Another one might be the nail in the coffin. Goes with the curveball that he pokes that into right field and will be caught by Caden Haywood. The throw back into the infield isn't a good one, but Spillman able to corral it. And Haywood showing off how valuable he's been in the outfield this season with a diving catch for out number 2.
I'm more surprised that he went after that, did Davis Turner, but he got a pitch he could lift. So in the end, it wasn't the worst swing decision in the world, and nearly got down too, but Caden Haywood showing off the 3-sport athleticism there. Gets on the ground and makes a nice catch.
And you talked earlier, Haywood, a big guy, standing 6'5", but very mobile in the outfield. Two outs now in the inning. Has Jeremy Green up. He was the DH, but moved in to play first base for the remainder of the night. 1-0 on the way from Paul. Inside. Paul just 1 out away from turning it back over to his offense. Swung on by Green. That's a monster shot down the left field line, but foul. As that ball was a mile high up in the air.
If there's ever a ball you call a foul tank, maybe that's one. But unfortunately for him, just way out in front of that one. Paul might be apprehensive to throw that pitch again.
2-1. And Green goes reaching in the upper portion of the zone. Moves the count even at 2-2. Paul fires home. Can't get Green to chase. Spillman looking for it. The runner will advance home. No play at the plate. Steele scores. It's a 9-3 Mooresville advantage, as they look like they will be on their way to a second-round date against the Corn Dogs.
Yeah, and after that 5th inning, it didn't look in doubt for much of that game, but good overall performance tonight from the Spinners. They really stayed the course, especially considering you lose A.J. Camp after just 5 batters to what looked like an arm injury, and now the whole team steps up. Your pitchers, you've got a guy like Landon Reeves who steps in for a couple, 3-4 innings to bridge the gap and puts you in such a good spot now. Pitching-wise, you don't have to throw another one of your guys out there too early.
The 3-2 grounded to Armstrong at shortstop. He'll make the play for out number 3. It'll be last call for Lake Norman, down to their final 3 outs of the summer here at Moore Park. Copperheads down to their final 3 outs of the summer. It's a 9-3 Spinners advantage. Lake Norman needs 6 to tie and 7 to take the lead. But Will Gray will get things started. He's 1 for 3 on the evening with an RBI double, his second time up. Now it's going to be chopped back to the pitcher. And an easy play for Osiander for out number 1.
Yeah, just not enough hard contact throughout the night against these Spinners pitchers, and that's just more down to the depth that they've got. They've got so many guys that can throw consistent strikes, and that seems to be the difference here between these two teams.
Number 26, Hale Oler.
Kel Ayler 0 for 3 on the evening, but no better time to get your night started than now. Osiander, first pitch swinging, fouled off down the left field line. So it looks like more than likely your second round matchups are going to be the Statesville Owls hosting the Regulators Baseball Club, and the Mooresville Spinners will be hosting the Queen City Corn Dogs right here at Moore Park tomorrow night. 0-1, swing and a miss from Ayler. As the Regulators have added some more runs in this inning, make it a 16-10 lead over the Disco Turkeys What an offensive display by both ball clubs, but especially by the Regulators. Jordan Boteet, first-year head coach for the Regulators, taking over for Trent Carr, who's actually now on this Mooresville Spinners staff. And the Regulators' second year of its existence in the SCBL in their summer ball program. 0-2. It's a take from Ayler. And it looks like you got to imagine, Gunnar, the Regulators building something that can be a sustainable model going into the future and looking to become kind of one of those memorable names and household names in the SCBL.
Yeah, and have the youth program to match it, too. You've got quite a few teams in the younger ranks that have done some pretty good work for them. You know, I don't know if that could potentially be a pipeline for them. But the Corn Dogs have something similar going down there in Metro Charlotte, and it's worked great for them. And you've got guys coming back to those teams like Harrison Bouthelette. I mean, you look what he's done the last 2 summers. The first guy in a long time to hit double-digit home runs over the summer. And you get guys to come back, you'll have a good model of success. And quite a few talented guys from that Regulators team. I mean, you look at 16 runs, that's pretty impressive.
2-2, fouled off, and you know, looking at that Regulators team, it was a team that had a lot to prove. I'd say probably 80% of those guys were in the transfer portal this summer, and a lot of those guys making some big name moves. Ryan Pruitt going from a JUCO to kind of a Power 6 conference, you could say, in the American at USF, and then Max Moore going from Mount St. Mary's to VCU, another really good baseball conference in the Atlantic 10.
Might be playing some down here later on, too, considering Davidson's right in the heart of Metro Charlotte as well.
A full count pitch to Kill Ayler. Swung on, fouled off, and he keeps battling. I'd say that's really the biggest thing that I've seen shift with the SCBL in the couple years I've been here. It's just how big the transfer portal is, and the SCBL give it a chance for a lot of these guys to showcase their talents to bigger universities and colleges. And really how summer ball has shifted since the introduction of the transfer portal.
Yeah, and maybe one of the best and biggest summers for this league also, just one of the biggest in size as well. And the level of competition really, I think, definitely has taken a big step.
The 3-2 misses. Ayler reaches first base safely, and the Copperheads get a base runner here in the top half of the 9th inning. Parker Staborski roped that double off the top of the right field wall his last time up, and steps it again.
And I think the additions really did help out. You mentioned the Disco Turkeys. Quite a few guys playing high-level baseball. It is, you know, a pretty far drive up there from Winston-Salem, but I think they've been a great addition to the team.
And same with the Wampus Cats, having the same ownership group. Wampus Cats with a really good fan base, and a couple guys on that team that are notable names to a lot of SCBL fans from prior years. Taj Bates was maybe the best hitter on that Concord A's team last year, now with the Wampus Cats, at Ixarino, a former Lake Norman Copperhead 2 summers ago with the Wampus Cats this year. It's a 1-1 count, 1 out here in the inning. Kill Ayler stands on first base, and the center fielder Parker Staborski up for Lake Norman. 1-1 is a strike from Osiander. Staborski is 1 for 2 in the evening with that double. He got caught looking on a strikeout a second time up and walked his first time. He was the first batter to reach safely tonight for Lake Norman. Osiander looks in, gets the sign from Turner, comes set. 2-2 on the way. Low into the dirt, good block from Turner behind the dish. As now we're down to the bottom of the 9th inning in Winston-Salem. Max Moore, who we were just talking about, still on the mound for the Regulators. Swing and a miss for Bubba Saborski for out number 2. The Copperheads down to their final out of the summer. And it'll be all in the hands of the DH Brock Fowler.
Next up, designated hitter number 33, Brock Fowler.
First pitch from Osiander. Runner will be going.
And you have to think that's not really on Josh Osiander's mind at this moment. All about getting that final out, and you'll take strike 1 and exchange it for a base runner.
Ayler on second base. 0-1 from Osiander. Swung on by Fowler. That's going to be back up the middle. Umbach trying to make a tough play on it. Will he make it? Yes, he will. Out number 3. And the Mooresville Spinners move on to the second round of the SCBL playoffs. Looking for their 4th straight championship. And that is the season for the Lake Norman Copperheads.
Yeah, and I think that's much deserved for the Spinners. Overcame some early adversity and some struggles when A.J. Camp going down early, but it was a whole team effort to get to that second round, and 9-3. They're going to be right back here tomorrow night facing off against the great Queen City Corn Dogs team. They've had some great battles over the season. The Corn Dogs actually took that last meeting between them up at Atrium Health Ballpark in Kannapolis, so I'm excited to see what kind of second-round matchup that'll be. Everything on the line and a chance to go to the championship series.
So the Copperheads will finish their summer with a 10-20 record, and the Spinners keep on rolling in the SCBL playoffs. It's a 9-3 final score here at Moore Park. Thank you for spending your Monday night with us. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, at SCBL Baseball, and subscribe to us live here on YouTube, as we'll be covering the SCBL playoffs all this week. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody.